Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Downline Podcast. Ethan, how are we doing? What's the word,
Doing
Ethan? What's
great.
the word on the streets?
Yeah, the streets are saying that baseball is being played.
Baseball's being played, Ethan. It's that time. It's that
It
time.
is.
We're in a big part of the season right now. All-star stuff is happening. Trade stuff is starting to heat up.
Teams are kind of figuring out who they are.
Yeah, the teams are more finding their place in the season so far, as opposed to, oh, maybe this team turns around, or maybe this team will fall off, or whatever. A lot of things are starting to get to the point where you can more or less see, okay, this team's going to be good the rest of the way. This team's probably going to sell, whatever.
Yeah.
But we got lots of stuff. I feel like the first thing that we should be talking about. So not very long ago, we talked about there was the very first CBA proposals in regards to like a salary cap and all that. Now there were other proposals recently that addressed other areas, in regards to the draft, international players, all that stuff. So the big ones were players are not going to be able to be drafted out of high school anymore. They're going to have to like go to college. They're going to be required to be at least 20 years old. It cut the like draft pool like money. It cut the amount of rounds. And it would also, I believe, one of the things was also like, I don't remember if it was in the proposal or if it was like talked about, but like something about an international draft too.
Yes.
Something about that. So that's where all that is. We'll go point by point. So first off is the big one is no more high school picks. Guys are gonna have to go to college, be at least 20 years old in order to be drafted. Ethan, what does that sound like to you?
I mean, personally, I like. I think it's good. Um, I think, first of all, college baseball will then become a better product as well, and they could kind of use college as more of a developmental tool rather than as a, you know, either or. So you're not having players just going from playing high school, making the jump to the minor league, because that's a big jump.
True, this is true.
Even rookie ball from high school is a big jump.
Yeah,
College to rookie ball is not nearly as big of a jump.
yeah, because you're playing
I
against like
think that
real
yeah,
professionals right now.
yeah, I think that having a separate draft and not allowing high school drafted straight to the majors definitely will help for the players and the teams, because the players are not kind of being thrown to the wolves in a tough situation, forcing their way to claw and get up to the surface. They're currently they would be put in a position where they could go to college, with actual coaching staffs and amenities. Like the average high school isn't going to have a lot of the facilities that a college has.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an obvious. So by letting these players play in college with better stuff, better equipment, better coaching staff, just a better experience that helps them get ready and helps them make the adjustment better to the minor league. So that definitely is a plus there. And also, on top of that, it may limit how much the teams would have to spend in order to like sign these players, because with the whole NIL thing going on in college, they might make a bunch of money as a college athlete first, and then would take less of a signing bonus, because they've already made a bunch of money, and that can help the team out, in getting, signing more of their draft picks, giving more to guys who are more unsure, and just kind of rounding it out better.
Yeah, so that was the big one. So in this, the I think that stuff is kind of being taken into consideration with this proposal, because part of it is, well, obviously it's less rounds, so inherently less money goes around, but it would cut the draft from 20 rounds to 12 rounds, right? And it would go to a $200 million draft pool, which is a almost $160 million reduction from what it currently is. And it would also do a 12-round international draft too. So inherently, there's just going to be, you know what I mean. There wouldn't be as much money in the draft pool, but there's less players, so it's whatever. So I don't know if how much that is being taken into account, because part of it, like, you're right, I hadn't thought about it like that before. Like, I know about the whole thing with the like, with college, not even just college baseball, like college athletes as a whole, like, you know what I mean, they kind of want to limit how much they're able to earn, but then the players are like, fuck off, like, what the fuck, like, that's stupid, which,
Yeah.
they're not wrong, because they're using your likeness and then you're not getting paid. So I again, part of this is obviously just because there's less rounds, so inherently less money is going to go in, which whatever. I wonder how much that kind of is being taken into account. The other thing here is that they have to be at least 20 years old on September 1st of their draft year. Now, I don't really know what I think about this proposal. I think it's relatively new. It came like a few days ago. The news came out about the proposal. Me personally, I think it still needs to sit with me a little bit, because like I don't, not necessarily that like I hate the idea of players having to go to college or whatever, but I'm also on my other thought is like, why should they have to if they don't want to, you know what I mean? Now, on the other hand, there is the thing where, you mentioned the jump from high school to, any professional level is a very big jump, and that is
Yeah.
objectively correct. Like, there's really no way around it. Like, it's a big jump, right? High schools are not going to have the same facilities as a lot of these minor league things, and colleges aren't even either, but they're going to have, a higher level than a lot of the high school ones, especially even the top colleges too. One thing that I thought of was, granted, I don't watch like a whole lot of college baseball, so maybe this isn't my area to like give the take, but it's more so I'm just going to ask the question is, how would this actually affect would all the top players just start going to like the top colleges, or what do you think it would be more of just like, guys just go?
I don't think it's going to be any more than it is now. Well, if it is, it's not going to be much more, because this affects everyone, not just like the top guys, because that means that everyone who's in high school that wants to go to the majors will likely have to go to college. And, colleges only have a certain amount of scholarships to give out, NIL money, stuff like that. So it's not like it's not like one school or two schools are going to be able to get everyone. I do think that it's going to make a lot of the bigger schools better as well, but at the same time, there are schools that are on the fringe right now that are literally like one or two like big, recruits away from being a serious team that's competing in Omaha. So I definitely could see this just making the product as a whole better. Yes, you'll see guys want to gravitate towards like LSU, Vanderbilt, schools like that. But I think at the same time, it's also going to help out the smaller schools that are, that are right there, because they will use their NIL money to improve in that way, whether it's getting, a bunch of guys for depth or just one or two, guys, like dogs. But I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem where it's like only the top schools are getting these good players.
Okay. So I saw another thing. I didn't save it. I don't know why I didn't save it, but I saw this take somewhere on my timeline where someone kind of brought it up, and I think this had to do with something like some agent said something, and I think it sparked this tweet or something, where somebody had basically come up with the take of like, is it going to be better or worse for development? Because now, like, stay with me for a sec here. I know we talked about like the facilities and whatever else, but a team gets more control over player development, you know what I mean, once they actually get the player. So would basically what I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I think it was like implying that maybe teams are going to get less control over development because they're going to get the players later, because you aren't going to be able to get guys out of high school anymore. Now, guys that are already going to college is not going to matter anyways, so it really only applies to the high school players. How, like, you have a better understanding of college sports than I do, so I'm kind of asking you the question here is, how much of college sports is like for actual player development, more that focus, as opposed to like, the top schools just trying to win their championship, whatever it is?
Well, I think it's completely dependent on the program because some programs are catered towards professional development that gives their players the best shot to succeed after college, and other schools just try to build a team that's going to win right now, and they don't really care about the future of the players, and the players know that they're not there to to help get developed to people. They're there to win in college. And that's where the NIL money aspect comes into it because players, 15, 20 years ago would be less willing to do, to play with no guarantee of development because like a focus on the development because obviously development's not a guarantee. They could look the other way because they're getting paid a bunch of money more than they would be probably making in their signing bonus when they're, in the majors, like they're from being drafted. So personally, I think that right there, like I don't think that players are going into it, but like they're not choosing a school not knowing whether it's going to be, they're going to focus on the development or focus on strictly winning. I get what you're saying though, because that's the thing. Once you get a player out of high school, for example, then he goes to your, he reports to your complex in wherever in Arizona, Florida, and then you could kind of work on development plan. But we've seen a lot of different colleges in different sports, have a player development approach where they're getting them ready for the next level, and that goes, part of it. And a lot of the time it just, winning is great for development, just, just winning, just getting a feel for it because there are so many things that are intangibles in sports that you just can't measure and you just can't like teach. And that's not me saying like, oh yeah, I'd rather a guy who works hard but doesn't produce versus a guy who doesn't work that hard but produces. It's more so like these guys, I'm happy if one of my players that I'm gonna draft or that I just drafted just went on a deep playoff run in Omaha and won the College World Series because that shows he has what it takes to grind out those. Obviously, like what I mean. You know, it's dependent on their performance, but I'm looking at a run they make and I'm like, okay, like this guy, he has what it takes. He doesn't, go deep into these runs and then, falters off and can't handle the bright lights. He goes out there and he plays when it matters. And just getting to play these bigger games because any college game is better than any high school game except for the like if it's just like a regular college game versus like a championship for the most part. So like just playing in these games against other colleges, big games, it just would have to imagine do wonders for confidence and for just like the moment. It's not just okay, you're playing in a high school field in front of like 100 people. Now you're going to be playing in a minor league stadium where there's like 10,000 people or 5,000 people or whatever. It's college where you're used to the same crowds as the minor leagues, and it's just so many things that go into it. I feel like.
Okay, okay. So another big part of this proposal was the proposal of an international draft. So it would be structured pretty similarly to what the draft would be, like in the regular draft would be, and the
Yeah.
domestic amateur would be in like the new proposal. Um, but it's for all those young international players where there's the verbal agreements years before they actually sign, and then they sign at like 16, 17, whatever it is. This would essentially be just an international version of it. MLB basically said that there's a lot of issues with the current international system, and that's why they need to have some sort of draft. So, this is from the MLB.com article by Mark Feinstein. So there's some numbers here related to like how many of these players actually reach the majors and whatnot. So one of the things that he said is only 6% of international signings currently reach the majors, while 44% of international players signed are released within 3 years. And he says, according to the MLB, 83% of international signing bonuses go to players who did not reach the majors, while more than 1,000 international players are released every year. Now, here's my question. What the hell does an international draft do that actually changes that? I'm actually so serious. What does that do?
I
What changes?
So personally, what I think that means is that I would imagine they maybe go into the draft younger. I don't know if that's part of it. If that's part of it, I can understand for sure. Also, it's more so the fact that when it's international free agency. It's kind of like a bidding war, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're just trying to sign a guy. Whereas a draft, there I'd imagine it would be kind of like the actual draft, where there's like baselines for how much certain picks are worth. So it's not like you're going in there, having to spend like, for example, like look at the Yamamoto situation, right? Where it's
Hmm.
like if you want him, you're gonna have to pay hundreds and hundreds of millions for a guy who's never played in the majors. That's not a knock on his skill, but it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to be. It's not just supposed to be the richest teams being able to get these players. These aren't like free agents who earned these contracts in the majors. These are players who are playing elsewhere and are coming into a different country, and it definitely will help like overall in terms of balancing who gets who,
Hmm.
but at the same time, you shouldn't just get rewarded for not spending. So it's kind of a weird middle ground there. But I don't know. I mean, I think that's all it is, just so owners would have to spend less money. I think that's what it is because you're not going to be signing international free agents for hundreds of $1 millions. You're just going to be giving them like whatever the baseline is, and like, and it's not going to affect the teams at all because they're still going to get their posting fees or whatever. So
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like that's something that
yeah. But yeah, yeah, no, I hear you. It's just the only thing is like with sure like the high profile, like high level guys like the Yamamotos, the Otanis of the world. Like yes, you are correct. I guess. Um, but when it comes to like a lot of the international prospects, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like those really young international players who sign out of like the DR, out of these places. Um, I don't really think that that would change that much because if the argument from MLB is like, well, like almost half of them wash out and like 80% are 80% of the bonuses or guys who didn't even reach the majors and like 5% or 6% or whatever it was like actually make the big leagues and then, again, this what I'm saying here is only this doesn't apply to like the the Yamamoto's, Otanis, those guys of the world. This is like the young international guys, like prospects. I don't like that doesn't really change anything for them, so I don't really understand
well,
what
yes,
that angle is.
you're saying in like raw numbers, like look at it, like it's not going to make the amount of players that make the majors jump up.
Yes, it's not, and it's also like
Yeah,
it's not like you're putting them in better development anyways. Like they're still going to all these same teams. Like I don't unless the idea is like
my thing as well is though, like they could see it as okay, we didn't just pump an insane amount of money to outbid other guys into this guy, so we don't have to rush him like we would have otherwise to get our money's worth. And this is for like probably the mid tier spending teams to lower tier, where it's like, you know what I mean? Like them giving an international free agent a decent size contract is big. It's a big thing. Um, so definitely, being able to limit that and not have that in the back of your head, like, okay, we just gave this guy like a couple $1 million signing bonus. I hope that he comes up soon and they kind of just rush him through whatever. Like, I don't think it's gonna help the raw. But also at the same time, if they do a draft, that means that players are going to different teams rather than just like some of the same teams getting the top guys. So the numbers could help because it's not just because, for example, the Dodgers. Let's say they get an international free agent, right? Like one of
mm-hmm,
the amateurs, and you know there's definitely going to be more of a positional logjam on a team like the Dodgers than a team like the Rockies or White Sox. So
sure.
if they're able to have the same chance of getting the same caliber guys as like teams that spend like the Dodgers, which I'm not saying is like something that needs to happen because at the end of the day, owners should spend. But if that does happen, I could see them making, more than making the majors because they're playing on a wider variety of teams rather than the same couple teams. And that would definitely help them make it because again, it's easier to make a team like the Rockies than it would be to make the Dodgers.
Okay, I hear you. um, so what? Let me see if there's anything we're missing in this proposal. So there's the international draft. Okay, I don't really think that we're missing too much in this proposal because those were the big points. It was the international draft and it was the change to the um, regular draft. That was really the big thing. The MLBPA, obviously, as you could expect, did not like the proposal. They were like,
Yeah,
insulted, whatever, whatever. You're pretty much going to see, no matter what the proposals are, whether they're good, bad, whatever it is, You're going to see the other side be like, this is ridiculous, this is blah blah blah, they're doing this, whatever. It's just going to be how it is until we actually get a agreement, which, who knows when that has any sort of idea of actually happening. There was another thing, completely unrelated, but it's a small change coming to something later this season. So we're about like a month and give or take like a month away from the All-Star game, right?
Yeah.
We're getting a home run derby change. So last year we saw the first time, wasn't the home run derby, it was the All-Star game, but there was a swing off in the
that was awesome
in extras, which was cool. It was cool. I like to see it. And then for this year, we are getting a slight change to the home run derby. It is going back. What year did they introduce the clock? Was it like 2015, 16? Or was it earlier than that?
That sounds right.
Something like that was like.
If I'm being honest, I'm not like I don't know the exact.
It was something like that. I don't know. It was something in that time period. I don't remember the exact year, but it was something like that. They introduced the clock, and it's like you have X amount of minutes. You hit one over 440, you get like an extra 30 seconds, whatever. They are changing that. The timer is gone, so hitters in the home run derby are gonna have 20 swings in the first round, and then. I don't know if it changes later. Okay, sorry, 15 in the second. And then,
See, my thing with that is, yes, it's saving time because it's not going to drag on, but also people, pay to see it. People watch because they want to see home runs, and limiting the swings means less home runs,
this is
guaranteed.
True. This is true. I think...
No, the most you can get around is 20. You're capped.
I think the way it is, it's 20, but on your last pitch... You keep on the last pitch.
Okay, so it's
okay. Keep going until you don't go deep.
Okay, that's I guess fine.
Which is cool. I like that. I like that part of it at least.
Yeah, I mean, because another thing is if it's pitches, if it's strictly pitches, I think the players are going to be more patient, and that's going to make it just as long, if not longer, anyway. So I don't even think you're saving that much time.
Yeah, if I said pitches, I meant swings. If I said pitches, I meant swings.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's if they make it if you know what I mean. If it swings, you get what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are just gonna take more pitches if it's not a perfect pitch because they're not on the clock.
Yeah. My take about this. I don't care. My take is I don't really care.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But...
I don't really think it's going to change the viewing experience that much. I know that there's some people who are hardcore loyalists to the out system or the time system or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's...
I don't think it's that serious. I don't really think it's going to change the viewing experience that much. I think the main thing is, number one, the guys who come into the Derby and put up stinkers, i.e. Jazz Chisholm last year, those rounds are probably not going to hurt as much because you just swing, it's over in 20 swings versus
that was something
versus you have to wait, what was it, 4 minutes or something like that, 3 minutes per round, whatever it was, as opposed to that. So
at least he didn't get bonus time.
Imagine he hits 3, they both, two of them go 440, gets an extra minute, we gotta watch all that shit. So, I guess those rounds are going to go a little quicker, and you're not going to have to sit through them as much. I guess, yeah, I don't really know. I mean, this doesn't really do anything for me, personally, because I don't really care about the time system versus the out system. I watch the home run derby to just watch people hit tanks. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's why I turn on the home run derby. I don't really care about... They're up there swinging for 5 minutes.
As long as they don't eliminate the home run aspect, I'm watching.
Yeah, listen, that's the only part that I need. As long as next year they don't say, all right, we're hitting a opposite field singles derby, I will not tune into that shit. I am turning the TV off if they say that.
Hey, at least Bo Bichette would win something.
Bo Bichette would win. Low key, he might get his chain snatched by. There's a few people who could snatch his chain, I think. But
true. Okay, let me rephrase that. If he gets to hit pitches that are actually not close to the middle of the strike zone, then he'd win.
He needs to. You remember? So you know what he needs. You remember the guy who, when Matt Chapman was in the home run derby, was pitching to him.
Yeah,
I don't remember who it was.
Some pitchers are so bad. It's holy hell.
That's honestly one of the funniest parts about the home run derby is some of the people who are pitching to
they get like their dad or something, and their dad doesn't know what they're doing, and
It'll
like
be a
turns into
family
a
member.
batting
Sometimes it'll be like a former
Yeah,
coach. It'll be like someone on the coaching staff of their current team, whatever it is. And some of them should not be there. Like, with all due respect, I'm not naming name. Well, I named one, but I'm not naming any names. Some of them should not be there. Some of
yeah,
them, it's like there's times, and you go on the timeline while the derby's happening, and you see everybody flaming the pitcher. Like, you are not giving him shit to swing at. People are like, yeah, that's strike
yeah.
three dotted on the corner. Like, like what are we doing? Um, but yeah, I don't really think that the change is gonna do very much. They're switching the broadcasters. I don't care. There's also not going to be any bonus rounds, allegedly. That's what they say. Um, the only thing I don't know if this implies that they are going to get rid of the swing off like in the derby. Do you obviously I know you remember the Vlad Jock swing off, like that was cinema. Like, you
Yes,
remember that
that one.
shit. I hope
Yeah.
that this doesn't mean that they're getting rid of that
Well,
kind
I
of
don't see
thing.
how they would because there still needs to be a winner. So if they're tied, what would they do?
True. Fuck you. Wait, you know what I just Okay, do you remember this is last year. Now, granted, it was first round, so maybe it's a little different. I don't remember the ins and outs of the home run derby formats, admittedly. Sorry. But um, there was it was Brent Rooker and somebody else last year who
Yeah.
they hit the same amount of home runs, but whoever it was with the same amount as Rooker, it might have been Cal, I can't remember. Um, his longest home run was like literal decimal points like further than Rooker's like farthest. And so he got the advance over that. Now, granted, I don't know if that was just because it was the first round and not the second round swing or the final or whatever it was.
Oh, I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like they were both like exactly 470,
Yeah, but
but then
like
it was
one
like
was
a
like
matter of yeah.
470 point
Yeah,
something.
it was Cal and Rooker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I remember being like, that was fucking stupid. I remember they were seeing it on the broadcast too. They were like, what the fuck? That's where you get a swing off.
Yeah.
That's like prime time. Like, give me a swing off. You get three swings, and it goes, because when those happen, that's cinema. Like the Vlad Jock one
Yes.
from what year was that? Like 23, 22?
Uh,
I think it was 23. Um,
that was wait no that was way before that was 19. It was his rookie.
was that? Oh fuck! Sorry, you're right. 29.
Yeah.
Sorry, 23 is the year that Vlad won the home run derby. You're right.
Yeah.
I was putting it in my head.
This is his first one.
I'm not gonna lie.
That might have been like the best home run derby.
That was cinema. I'm not gonna lie. I said the year in my head, and then I was like, wait, Jock was not on the Dodgers at that point. Yeah, I know you're right. It was in 2019. It was it was when it was in Cleveland. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, hopefully they don't do away with that, because that shit, that's gonna be cinema.
Could you imagine like a home run derby in Polo Grounds or something like that? Like if it was still standing.
Someone hits it to
I
center
would love
field,
to
you
see
just know.
that.
Someone hits it at center field, you just know. You're like, yeah, we ain't even gonna bother with this right now. We're not even gonna bother going to try to get this damn ball. This is nonsense. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
It's crazy because weren't the like the foul poles like really short, like really not that
Yeah,
long?
it was let me get the exact dimensions cuz I
'Cause
don't want to like speak out of my ass, but I do play MLB the Show, so I could tell you that I've hit like 270-foot homers.
because I know that like dead center is like stupid far. It's
Yeah.
probably over 500 feet.
Center it's dead center says 483, which doesn't seem right. It does
Honestly,
seem a
that
bit
seems short. I
further.
thought it was further than that.
But down the line 279, 258.
Shout out down the line. Um,
Yeah.
78. Honestly, I thought that would have been a little bit further in, but
258 right field is kind of crazy.
that is crazy. Hitting a 260-foot homer, yo, could you? So would you be intentionally trying to like pull them like right down the foul lines? Like, is that like would that be the meta in a Polo Grounds home run derby?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
Like that's got to be the meta, right?
Yeah.
Dude, imagine Twitter after that. They fucking start clowning. They start saying it's a Mickey Mouse derby. It's a Mickey Mouse win. All of them were 270. Look at all these sub 300-foot homers. Mickey Mouse. This guy should have won. Bad winner. All that nonsense.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, imagine having to pull the ball, like, intentionally trying to like hit the ball the other way in a home run derby because you want to hit it down the 258 line or something.
and that's like
Uh,
not a thing that you do much as a hitter. Like, opposite field, you try to shoot a pitch outside for a line drive, whatever. You're not trying to hit an opposite field homer, right? If you're a power hitter, you're probably thinking either dead center because you want to, flex your muscles, or you're thinking pull the ball because that's like the most optimal way to actually generate power. Intentionally going oppo on fly balls, holy shit. Listen, you know how people talk about the home run derby curse, right? How like people come
what?
out,
Yo, yeah,
how
yeah.
people come out and they're slumping or whatever. Imagine someone goes into a Polo Grounds homer derby, right? They keep it's a righty. They keep trying to hit it down the right field foul line. Could you imagine? Listen, you think the home run derby right now is bad? Like the curse. That might
Yeah.
like actually like wreck you for the rest of the season. Like we need to overhaul this in the off season. Get you pull the ball again. Like
Yeah.
you can't do this.
I have a
Basically,
question. Have you seen The Sopranos?
I've seen a little bit of it. I haven't actually seen very much.
Have you like when would you say you watched up to?
I'm actually not kidding. Like probably like a few episodes. I started
Oh,
watching
because
it.
I
I started watching it with somebody, and then for some reason we never got around to
yeah.
like continuing.
But I'm currently watching and we just we're on like season 2 episode like 10 now. But it was one of the more recent ones, like episode 7 of season 2, I think it was, where um where Pussy was at the batting cages with his son, and then he says elbow up, keep it straight, and then his kid goes, coach is having me pull. He goes, fuck him, my son don't hit it, sacrifice flies.
Hey, listen, that's damage. That's damage right there.
Yeah,
Well, to be fair, Zach Fly is underrated. Zach Fly is
yeah.
underrated. I mean, that's a run.
The same people that'll tell you a sack fly is bad are the same people that'll tell you to sack bunt.
Oh man,
Don't even get me started.
there was. I don't even remember what game it was. There was the one game. It was the Blue Jays were playing whoever. It's like within the last week. We're fucking. It's bottom 8. There's 2 guys on, first and second, nobody outs. They have Ernie Clement coming up to do this. The AL leader in hits at that point, at least.
Yes.
They had this fucker square up. I got so pissed. I think it was one of the games against the Yankees. I think I got so pissed, and of course he popped it up on the first pitch, and it killed the momentum for the rest of the inning. And I was like, "What are we fucking doing, man?"
There's only a couple players on a team that should ever be bunting, and that's a guy that's like a Miles Straw or Tyler Heineman of a team.
Or
A
like
guy who's
yeah,
not an everyday player. They either have speed or are just trying to advance the runners because they are prone to hit into double plays or stuff like that.
or like the guys who are specifically in the lineup every day because they are a good defender, like an Andres Jimenez type, or like even around the league, like a Nick Allen, like someone like that. Maurice,
Yeah.
Those kinds of guys. Not someone who's leading the American League in hits. That was ridiculous. I got so pissed. I was like, man. I texted one of my friends like right when that happened, and I was like, woo. I was going in.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we doing? Like, what kind of decision making is that? Like, you have the fucking AL leader in hits here. I was cheesed, man.
Yeah.
I was cheesed, man.
And speaking of leaders in the hits, how about a former Blue Jay leading the majors right now? First to 100, Otto Lopez.
Hey, man, shout out Otto. Shout out Otto.
Yeah.
I saw someone.
Good play.
I had seen someone say on the timeline that they were trashing, like, it's one of those people, every fucking sports fan apparently just hates their own general manager. Apparently, like, no GM should actually have a job, according to some people.
Right. Yeah.
And there was this one I'd see. I don't remember when this was. This might have been, like, a month ago, maybe more than that. But I'm like, I think it was, like, on the streetcar, and I was scrolling on Twitter or whatever. And there was this one guy saying how getting rid of Otto Lopez is like, one of the biggest mistakes the Blue Jays made. And it was like, hey, with all due respect, even the biggest Otto Lopez optimist did not think he was going to be that good when he was with the Blue Jays. I'm like, come on, let's relax. Like with all due respect, you know,
Yeah.
he's killing it right now. And I mean, we talked about it even when he was doing really good last season. We were talking about it. Obviously, he's fucking killing the game this season. There's no way around it. Sometimes you can just give a team a development win. It doesn't have to be that this guy made a huge mistake and this guy like fucking
I mean,
trolled. And
he's probably not even getting the opportunity here, let alone doing what he's doing. So it's
yeah,
just,
because like realistically, I honestly this season would have been the first one where he maybe would have got some opportunity. Because before that, like you're playing behind
yeah,
Bo Bichette, like you were never gonna take his starting spot, right?
yeah.
Unless you came and you proved some serious shit while somebody was injured, which you know he never really got the opportunity to because we had guys.
We were healthy as well. Yeah.
We had guys that got all those spots. So not really sure what you know what Ross was supposed to do about that, but whatever.
There are other things to criticize him for sure.
He definitely has very worthy criticisms. I'm
There's no executive in sports that's perfect where you can't pinpoint certain things that they've done where it's like, I don't know why they did that.
nobody has a
So
no people in these jobs have a perfect track record, and that's okay. Guys are allowed to have mistakes on their resume. Be like, damn, I wish I wouldn't have traded this guy, or I wish I would have signed this guy, or whatever it was. You know what I mean? It fucking happens, right? There's a lot more, but because he has some things you can realistically criticize him for. You can criticize him for being arguably too passive at times. You can kind of criticize, how he kind of holds on to certain guys or whatever it is. But this isn't one of them. This is not a winning battle.
No.
Like, what are we doing? You know who has an elite jinxing ability?
Bob
Nightingale.
Yeah.
We had it so good, man. We had it so good, man. Oh my god. Listen, I don't know what the severity of the Trout injury is right now. The initial reports are saying that he's hoping it's going to be a really short stint, which I fucking hope so. Because holy fuck, this was a prime Mike Trout. This is far from prime Mike Trout. Far cry from it, but it felt good to see him actually kind of tearing it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, OBP damn near 400. His ISO was 240. He was kind of hitting tanks. He probably would have been an all-star. Probably would have been a starter even. If I had to.
Well, I mean, with voting 100%, I don't see why he wouldn't have been.
Off the top, although to be fair, there's a lot of guys who probably would have been to the All-Star game that are going to be gone because of injuries, and not even just ones who are barely gonna make the roster. I mean some of the big guys. J Ram's hurt, Judge got hurt. He had the big thing, J Ram too. Now Trout. The AL's getting it tough. I don't think the NL has it as bad, do they?
I don't think it's nearly.
The AL's getting fried right now. But yeah, man. I mean, to be fair for the Angels, at least, you can Actually, no, I'm not even going to say to be fair. That was the one silver lining on their season was that Mike Trout was having a really good year, and now he's out. And now he's out for a bit. Hopefully not very long, but they were fully in the basement, which is it's a tough one. They're in the basement of the AL right now. I think they're one of the worst records. They're the second worst record in ball, only ahead of the Rockies. So not great company.
Yeah.
Not great company. Okay. You know a team that's low-key been not bad lately? I know people love to troll them because they're still below 500. The Mets have been not bad over the past month and a half.
Yes, but at the same time,
it's
with how much you spent, you're looking for a little better than not bad.
No, you're right, and because also they dug themselves such a big hole in the beginning.
Yeah,
but it's they're kind of starting to get it together a little bit.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette's kind of hitting right now. Oh, there's a lot of guys who are kind of finding their stride right now, which is good, which is undoubtedly good. It's a positive sign. Juan Soto's been absolutely killing it. Like I said, Bo Bichette has been really good this month. But also, you're right. At the same time, you need a little bit more than just not bad. You know what I mean? You need to go on a run, right?
Yeah.
AJ Ewing's been a guy who's been really good for them this month. Carson Benj. I said Bo Bichette was hitting well, right? You even look at his
Yeah.
surface stats compared to now, like compared to what they were like a month and a half ago. Like you can see it, even without looking at like Guess his batting average in the month of June.
It's probably gonna be like 350 or something.
358.
I was not that far off.
You were not far off. His OBP is 366, and I think that that's hilarious.
Well, I mean, it's also not uncommon for
You're right. Like I know. Like I've like
Yeah, I know, I know.
like we especially know. Like we watched this guy for
Yeah.
years, but it's never.
He's such a funny player.
It's never.
He's one of the funniest players.
It's
I've ever
never
had the
not
pleasure of
gonna.
watching.
It's never not gonna be funny. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
It's never not gonna be funny.
If there's any player in baseball that could have any chance of their average being lower than their on base, or higher than the on base, Bo Bichette is on the short list of guys I would pick for.
There's another guy on the short list who was doing it for quite a while.
Yeah.
These bitches love Sosa. These bitches love Sosa. I am not bitches. I do not love Sosa.
Yeah. Well, that is one of the players who have ever played for the Blue Jays.
I saw his.
Witness history.
I saw his only walk of the season. So like, is that special?
Yeah.
I think that might be cinema. That might be cinema too.
Like honestly, if you would have told me last year that hey, like when we were up 3-2 against the Dodgers, hey, we're gonna lose this series, but Lenyn Sosa is gonna play for us next year, and he's gonna have a singular walk, I would have said, oh fuck, give me that instead.
That's a take. It's one of the takes of all time. It is, one of the takes that has been, put out into the world of all time. Another thing, really quick, I just want to just talk about the Mets just for a little bit more. So they're getting it together, right? So obviously, if it starts right now, like the deadline, all that, they are selling because they are 7 games below 500. They're I don't remember exactly how many games out of playoff spot. They're not, they're a little bit far out. If they don't keep going on a hot streak, like if they hit a slump at all within the next 5 weeks, that pretty much means that they're sellers. You're gonna see guys like Bo, Freddie Peralta. Did you see the report that apparently Bo is no? Granted, I know he's having a really good June, and probably his overall numbers are gonna be a lot more on track by the end of the year. But this is a little bit before it's really started getting there. There was the report that came out that he's fully set on opting out of the deal, which at a certain point looks kind of crazy.
He just misses Toronto is all it is.
Hey, listen, you want to come back for the Lolo? I'm chilling. You can come back for the Lolo. There ain't no issue with that. You want to come do your thing like you were doing before? Keep putting up those 4 or 5 win seasons like you were doing. Those 130,
if you want to come in, sign 5 years, $80 million, be my guest.
Those 120, 130 WRC plus seasons, you got it. We got you, Bosif. We got you. All right, Ethan. I think it's time. I think it's time for the main event here. Are you ready?
The meat and potatoes of this one.
Sorry?
The meat and potatoes of this one.
The meat and potatoes. I like the sound of that. So we are going to be doing our own all-star ballots for the season. So we are going to go, just as it is for you guys, we are going to give the full starting position player kind of set for both the American League and the National League. And Ethan, I guess for fun, if you want, we can do a pitcher or two. We can do
how do you want to do this? Do you want to go position by position?
We'll go position by position. So I guess we can start. We'll start with a catcher. Even though, okay, there's this thing on the the thing where you go to actually vote for the All-Star stuff. There's this thing that pisses me off, right? It goes first base, second base, third base, shortstop, and then catcher, and then outfield. What are we doing?
What the hell?
What are we doing? Why is catcher not first? What are we doing?
The only position that would be acceptable to have before catcher is pitcher.
Yes. That is it. Maybe DH. Maybe.
Even then, I'd say DH always would be last for me. I don't know. Just because, it's...
No, I agree. I would agree with you, and I would say that is the correct way to do it, but it was it's not the most egregious thing. But, catcher between shortstop and outfield, that's egregious. That's disgusting. I didn't even like looking at that. Like hell no, don't do that nonsense with me. But anyways, so we're gonna start with catcher.
Yep.
So we'll give our picks here. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
I'll go first. All right. So my primary catcher, I'll do my AL catcher first. I have Dylan Dingler as my AL catcher. Kind of a close one between him and Mr. Shea Langeliers. And then my National League catcher, I have Drake Baldwin. I have both of these guys in there. Ethan, who do you got?
Yeah, so for me, I have for the first one for the AL, I have Shea Langeliers. Dylan Dingler was the one that I was heavily considering. It was back and forth, but I just feel like Dylan Dingler is really heated up as of late, whereas Shea Langeliers has kind of been hitting like relatively well the whole season. He's kind of shown it for longer. And while I don't really consider defense that much important when I'm voting for an all-star ballot, so I don't take the defensive value that a guy like Dingler brings that much into account when choosing. So as a bat, I like Shea Langeliers, but obviously if we're talking about who's having the better season, I'd say it's Dingler.
Yeah. No, it was a really close one because like you're right, Dingler has gotten like a lot better as of late.
Yeah.
Shea Langeliers though, you can argue that he hasn't been quite as good as of late. He had a really hot start
Right.
to the season. You can argue it. Their offensive numbers are like almost identical.
Yes.
Their on base percentages are 3 points apart. Their slugging percentages are 2 points apart. I think Shea Langeliers' OPS is better by like 5 points. Their WRC plus is 1 point apart. So, yes, like the main thing that made me go Dingler like a little more decisively was the defense, but that was mostly because their offense is essentially a tie at this point. Like they've essentially been like offensively they've pretty much been equals. By almost every major, every important offensive statistic, like they have been pretty much the same, even down to like their walk rates and strikeout rates are also really similar. Their ISOs are similar. Shea Langeliers has the slight edge in counting stats, but if you want to be that guy and argue the plate appearances like 30 difference, then whatever. I don't really think it matters, but yeah, that was what made me break the tie there, but. It was tough. I went into it thinking it was gonna be Shea Langeliers, like no, like you know what I mean, no contest, right? I didn't actually realize how good Dingler's numbers were for the season. I know that he's been so good as of late. I didn't realize that his numbers for the season were like almost the same as Shea Langeliers' numbers. I guess in my head I'm still thinking about the hot start that Shea got off to.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point where he was hitting like 360 leading the league in homers. Like there was a point where that was a big reality. But yeah, that's why I went to. I mean, I don't really think you can go wrong with this because like,
no, you can't.
It's essentially like you flip a coin.
Yeah,
you flip a coin pretty much. Who is your NL catcher?
It's also Baldwin.
Also Baldwin, yeah. We'll give some shout outs really quick. I think it's pretty decisively Baldwin. Like I think he pretty comfortably has this one. Like he's been the best catcher in the NL. Like even above, there's some really good catchers in the NL right now. Like it's actually like surprisingly kind of a stacked position. There's like 5 guys who I wouldn't say are like right there for the starting nod, but who are having really really good seasons. Ivan Herrera's been hitting really well. Liam Hicks has been hitting well. Hunter Goodman's been doing his thing. He's been hitting absolute tanks. William Contreras is having another really good season. Like. You know what I mean? Some of it's the usual suspects. Yeah. Like, William Contreras has been really good. Hunter Goodman was really good last year, too. Ivan Herrera in his limited time last year was really good. But Drake Baldwin just has it, man. He just has it. He's just different. So it's he just has it over the other guys. And I don't really think that it's much of a conversation to even be mad about it, if I'm being completely honest. Let's move on to first base.
Ethan. First base. So for the AL, I have of the Yankees Ben Rice.
Yep.
And for the National League, I have of the Braves Matt Olson.
I have the same selections as you. I have Ben Rice and Matt Olson.
That one was not as hard as catcher because
For the
There was
NL,
no Dinglerverse.
the NL no, but the AL I can't lie.
Yes, that was. I mean,
That was
I want to say
hard.
Nick, like, Kurtz, Murakami. I mean, both having great years. I guess Murakami, you can like. I would say that has he even played third base? 'Cause I know he was brought in as a third baseman.
I think he's played a good amount of third, if I'm not mistaken. I think
But
he's.
either way,
Never
I
mind.
was
Never mind.
considering
Never
him.
mind. He hasn't played an inning at third base, so I don't know what
Yeah,
I'm
I was
talking
gonna say
about.
because
So
like
don't listen
I
to
could,
me.
yeah, like I mean, cause I would say he's definitely in there too.
Hmm.
It wasn't as close as the catcher though for the AL. It wasn't as close, but
I won't lie. I
definitely
won't lie. For me, I was actually like, it was probably just for me at least. It was just as close. I
really
was like
between who?
Between Rice and Kurtz, between those two.
Right, fair.
I was I was so torn between those two. I like Rice's like slash line is overall better for the season. He has the counting stat advantage, and you can even say that he
He just doesn't. That's the thing. He just doesn't walk as much as Kurtz. That's the only like knock I have
it
on.
is. This is true. But even so, like their offensive numbers are so like they're similar, but they're not. Like the once you accumulate all their offense together, like it's really similar. Like they're
Yeah.
like 7 points apart in WRC plus right now. Obviously, Rice has been hitting for more power, and he's been having a stupid good season, which of course we've talked about
Yeah,
on
but
multiple
also
occasions.
yeah.
But
At the end of the day, if you have a 600 over a six an over 600 slugging percentage, it makes me very not hesitant to pick you.
however, to be fair, you can argue that the other guy has a damn near
Yeah,
440
yeah,
OBP and is
yes.
still hitting
You could
things.
make the
You can
argument.
argue both. I'm just saying
Yeah,
it's damn close. And you know
yeah,
what? This is another position where there's a lot of guys having really good years. William Contreras is probably getting slept on hard. Or Wilson Contreras, excuse me, is getting slept on hard. Because all the attention is going, obviously, towards, like, Ben Rice and Nick Kurtz. And a certain
yeah.
other guy who is somehow topping the first base voting.
I was about to say that, not to mention the guy who's leading. Like,
Yeah, who should not be in the top 5 of voting, by the way. Like,
no, there
should
should be
not.
a rule implemented for future reference, like for future votes, that if you have more walk-up songs and home runs, you're not on the ballot at all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So for anyone who hasn't seen it, there was the first round of like ballot updates that came out. I think it came out on Monday, like Monday this past Monday. Um, Vlad Jr. is leading the AL in first base votes by a pretty good margin too. He's leading Ben Rice by, or at least by that point, by just under 100,000, which you know, obviously we're big Jays guys, but like I do think at a certain point you do have to be serious for a second and be like, all right, like when is enough enough? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We talk about this one, the catcher voting. Okay, there's some funny ones on here because obviously it's just like a bunch of Jays fans just voting their guys in, which on a certain level I respect. There's a lot of Blue Jay votes here, which are kind of hilarious. The Vlad one is really funny. I'm between three as which I think is the funniest. Number one of them is Springer being second for DH. One of them is Kirk being second for catcher, and one of them is Miles Straw being top 10 in outfield voting. Oh, and Andres
yeah.
Gimenez being second in shortstop voting. That one's crazy too.
It's just so crazy to me that there was ever a point in time where this game that's voted on by fans like this was determine who
Home
hosts the
field.
World Series.
That's crazy. It seems like you know what's great. I like almost forgot about that. When was the last time they did that? Was it 16 or was it 17?
I believe it was 16. Yeah,
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
like that's insane to me.
Like I don't even remember what the
Like it,
rationale would
like
have been.
I don't think that should have ever been a thing. But if it was at least chosen based off of like raw data and an actual committee that uses like statistics to determine who the best players at each position are, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But having it a fan vote, like for like in theory, you know how like Jays fans, for example, manipulate the vote by having all their fans not manipulating like necessarily like a wrong way, but like just because they have so many fans voting.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you didn't have it where they voted opposite, just putting the like basically borderline, like guys that are out of the league or minor leaguers in the All-Star game for the other side.
That would have been a really funny sight to watch. That would have been
Like, could
hilarious.
you imagine the combined WAR of of an all-star team was like 2 or something like that?
I I'd start crying. Like I would be laughing so
Yeah.
hard there would actually be tears running down my face. That would be so funny.
And I just realized that, like, you know who's managing the AL this year. There's a very realistic shot we see a fucking Andres Jimenez sack bunt in the All-Star game.
I actually am not kidding. If I see that, I might turn it off. Like I'm actually not kidding. I actually might turn off the game if I see that. I'm actually so serious. You know what's crazy? There's another vote. This one might even be funnier than any of the AL ones. Guess who's second in NL third baseman votes?
Who is it?
It's Alec Boehm.
Yeah, and I mean that's just also what happens when you have such a devoted fan base such as Philly. I mean,
Which
you're gonna
yeah, and
obviously get guys who probably shouldn't be voted in, or at least coming close.
yeah, and I mean it's not like NL third base is like that good of a position this year. Like there's like you're talking about Matt Chapman might be the second guy in there, and he hasn't been like that good this season. Like he's been fine,
Yeah.
but he hasn't been like great. Alec Boehm, as it stands right now, and granted this, I know the update would have been 5 days ago at this point, but also like this isn't going to make that much of a difference between now and then. Alec Boehm is currently 12th in. He's actually sorry. He's last among all NL qualified third basemen in F4. He's the only one whose F4 is negative.
Yeah, I mean anything other than voting Muncy at that position, I don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah, like unless you are weird and you do a backup ballot, I don't know. That's weird. I never thought
But
about doing
like,
that.
yeah,
That's a little weird.
yeah,
Um, but yeah. Anyways, back to what we were talking about first. There's a lot of really good first basemen in the AL that I feel like are kind of gonna be almost like forgotten about a little bit. Like I said, Wilson
yeah.
Contreras. We talked about Murakami. You know, Pete Alonso's having a solid season too. Jonathan Aranda's having a really good
Oh,
season again.
yes, and also adding on to you choosing Dingler, I think it was proven after last year's All-Star game that the Tigers should be banned from it.
You know what? Good point. That's a really good point. I forgot about that. That's
Dude,
a
again,
fantastic point.
could you imagine like home field advantage being like riding on it, and you just see the Detroit Tigers go like 0 for 20, giving up all the runs like they did basically. It's like, oh my god. Like I would actually like if it determined home field advantage and I'm a contender in the AL, I'm actually like I would start Tigers as a franchise.
You'd start. Honestly, I would too. I'd be pissed. I'd be sitting there. I'd be watching Game 1 of the World Series. We're in the NL team's ballpark. I'd be like, fucking Zach
Dude,
McKinstry, man. Like, what are we doing? Like, because of
we
him.
lost the World Series at home field, so it doesn't really matter that much. But like, could you imagine the reason why we would have had to have Game 7 in Dodger Stadium was because the Tigers sold the All-Star game?
I would have been so pissed. I would have located them. I would have located some of them. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
They would have been located, and operations would have been conducted. Like
Yeah.
it would not have been going down well. But yeah, I just want to get that out there too. There's a lot of really good first basemen. Even if a lot of these guys aren't really touching Kurtz and Rice for the starter position, but like we
Yeah.
got to give guys their flowers. We talked about Murakami as well for a little bit too. Like there's some fucking demons in the AL this year.
Murakami very well might win the vote simply because but
Might what?
win the vote simply because of Japan, like Japanese people voting.
There's a chance that he sneaks in the second because I think Vlad's going to get the start, like the first place nod,
True.
which I mean he shouldn't, but he probably will. There is a chance that Murakami is able to snatch the second place from Rice. As of the last update, it was Ben Rice at 509,830 votes, whereas Murakami was at 437,107 votes. So about a 70,000 vote difference, give or take. A little bit over 70,000. That's not that big a mark. You know what I mean? That's not that big a mark. That's something that you can make up by the time the stuff is decided in a little bit under a month. But yeah, you know what sucks? You know what I hate?
What?
I
What?
fucking hate the rule where every single team has to be represented because there's always some bullshit ass selections that results in someone getting
I say this.
hardcore
I
snubbed.
say this every single year in every sport that does something like this. This is the All-Star game, not the participation game.
What other leagues like? Does any other like major league have it? Like I know the NBA doesn't have it.
NHL and NFL.
They both they
I
both
don't know NBA,
wow.
but I don't think NBA does,
No,
but that's
NBA
only because the rosters are smaller, like for basketball.
which
I guarantee you,
good.
if basketball rosters were like 20 per team, it would be one per team in the
I
All-Star.
hate like that's so stupid. That's so dumb. I hate that rule.
Which I do see both sides because I do understand it's the All-Star game and the league should be represented as a whole. But if you don't have a player that's that warrants it,
I'm I'm just personally of the belief of like it should just be the best players, so I don't really
I could, yes,
you know what
but
I
I
mean?
100% understand why they think that that's something that I understand the thought
I
process.
can kind of get in their head and like get it a little bit, but also at the same time I'm like I still I
It's
don't
not something that we have to worry about as fans of a team that, always has guys in because of the vote. But like imagine you are a fan of a team who's consistently not great and like you go like a 3 or 4 year span where you just don't have an all-star at all. Not
yeah.
even one.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Like
I
that's when it gets to the point where it's like, as a fan of that team, I would be upset. I'd be like, okay, like yeah, at least like get any of our players in there. But
it's I don't know. I think it's fucking whack, but I don't know. Maybe that's just
no, I agree. But I'm just saying I can sort of see.
I know there is definitely a crowd who agrees too, like with that, because every single year that this conversation is had, like every year, because there's always somebody who doesn't get in, like specifically because of that rule, like they obviously would have got in otherwise. Like last
Yeah,
year, Juan Soto would have. I mean, he could have argued. You could argue he should have been a starter last year, but he didn't make it, and he probably would have made it at least as a reserve, if not for that rule. I think Trey Turner was a guy who got hardcore snubbed because of the rule too. Last year, like
bunch of the pitchers you could probably say too.
yeah, those are just some of the ones I remember off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more. I remember writing an article last year about some of the big All Star snubs, and those are two of the ones I mentioned. Um, I remember. I'm sure there's more. Well, I know there's more because I wrote more, but I don't remember them all off the
Yeah.
top. But yeah. So that's that one. To end all first base really quick. Yeah, we both picked Matt Olson. No, I don't really think that anyone else has that much of a convo. Like, there's other guys. The conversation is more so who should get the reserve spot. I think
Yeah.
it's like do you give it to Freddie Freeman? Do you give it to like Jake Bauers having a really good season? Like whoever one of those guys you want to give it to. That's kind of the thing there. Nobody's snatching the starting gig from Matt Olson. He's got it locked, and he should
Yeah.
absolutely should. He has been pretty comfortably been the well sorry I shouldn't say he has a starting gig lock because I think actually Freeman is ahead of him in voting, but he should have it. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
probably going to end up being those two if I had to guess. But there's a lot of good NL first baseman right now. Like even aside from some of the guys we mentioned, but like Alec Burleson for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's guys, but Olson's pretty comfortably the guy. I don't really think I have to think twice about it.
No.
All right, for second baseman for the American League, I have Ezekiel Duran, and in the National League, I have Bryce Terang. Ethan, who do you got for me?
Okay. So from the AL, honestly, this one was harder.
This one actually was. The L one
this
was hard.
might
There's like five guys. I think maybe not five, but there's a good amount of guys.
this might be a bit biased, but I'm saying Ernie just because he leads the league in hits, and I don't think hits are end all be all. I just don't think that there's any second baseman in the AL that's like complete standout where it's like, oh my god, if this guy doesn't make it, it's a travesty to the sport.
I would agree.
Which is why I'm leaning towards Ernie because has that average around 300, which to the average fan they see that in the ballot and they're like, oh, this guy's good. Also having more home runs than anybody that I'd have close to him in the voting aside from Jazz helps. So it's not just like you could say he's a one dimensional player of just hits singles
Yeah.
because he does have more home runs than the guys who
he has the highest slugging percentage out of anyone in that's going to be
yeah
in the conversation. So
yeah. So that's another thing that leads me to pick him. The NL one was a bit easier, and it's gonna be Terang. But Brandon Lau very close behind. He has been such a fun player, and that would be
I
a
think
cool representation for the Pirates.
honestly for the NL or honestly for both of them, I feel like it wasn't like clear cut. Like I went Duran, but
Right.
for the AL even, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
sit here and act like there was like, you know what I mean? It was clear
Yeah.
cut, whatever. You could have, like you said, you could have gone Ernie. You could have gone Jazz, and that would have been fine too. You could have gone like Chase Meredith or Meredith.
Midroth, yeah.
Yeah, Matroth, and it would have been fine. Jazz, I don't really think is that crazy of a pick either. I think there's like 4 picks in the
I think
AL.
like JJ even wouldn't even been that bad of a pick for NL.
I was really close. Honestly, with the NL second baseman, I went like I was actually really considering. It was Terang, Brandon Lau, and JJ Weatherhold. Those were the three. I was like going
Yeah.
back and forth. I was like, ooh, like do I want to like what am I like what do I want to do here? Like I had fully no idea.
Honorable mention is Ozzy for the fact that he has shown, like flashes of him being himself again, and he is having a good year. So shout out to him, but he
Absolutely.
just missed the cut for the short list.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing for me too. Um, the one thing that I will say though is get Bryson Stott out of that first out of the top of the voting. He is
Yeah, that
holding, he's holding the
there's
second spot right now. Get him out of there. Get him out of there.
if I had a nickel infielder the Phillies have with under a 100 WRC plus that's in contention winning the vote for the All-Star game, I would have two nickels, which isn't a lot, but the fact there's
it's
even
crazy
one,
that it's crazy that there's two.
it's crazy that there's even one.
Yeah, it is crazy that there's even one. And you know what's crazy is one of them has a negative WAR. One of them has been an active detriment to their team. Not Bryson Stott quite, but he should not be anywhere
Also,
close to
this
top.
conversation is really interesting because if you had this conversation, let's say 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I think Ilmaro Vargas would have been like the no doubt, no brain choice for that.
Oh, absolutely, but he is. Whew,
Yeah,
it's been a little rough as of late.
and it's not even just like him, and that's the thing that sucks. It's not even like it's just him kind of coming back to earth. Now he's just like, it's just like obviously it is, but at the same time, that is just an insane drop, regardless of coming back to earth or not.
Yeah, it's not even just like now. Grant, like this is a guy who I think we both had him as our player of the month for April. I think
Yes,
for March and April. Now, there's a difference between a guy getting off to a really hot start, and like they're like stupidly, insanely good for the first like month of the season, and then they just go back down to being like just regular good. You know what I mean? Sometimes you see that he has been. With all due respect, he's been terrible. He's been awful since the end of the first month of the season. So his WRC plus in the month of May. Do you want to guess what it is, or what it was? I guess.
what was it?
45.
Yeah, it's
I
would guess like 56 or something. I don't know why 56, but
do you want to guess what the number is in June?
It's like 12.
-24.
Is that good?
Is that good? Is that good? Perchance. That's a tough one. -24 is tough. When I was -24, it was 1990. No, it wasn't. I'm terrible at math. It was 1980.
I was gonna say.
I'm terrible at this shit, bro. Hey man.
Close.
Hey man, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah. Also another guy that also was on the short list. Another I think there's Luis Arias. I think should also be in this conversation. Now, people know me as a guy who isn't the biggest.
Vargas should take up golf. He could win the Masters with those numbers.
If he's 24 below par, is that good?
Dude, he might be like the best golfer ever.
Listen, if you're 24 below par, who's the greatest golfer of all time? Who's the GOAT? Who's the golf GOAT?
I would say it's Tiger.
It's Tiger Woods?
Yeah.
24 below par, you're blowing him out of the water, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not even close. You're making him look like fucking Lenyn Sosa.
Yeah, I mean, it gets to a point where it's where that's you might be looking at some historic numbers because I'm pretty sure right now the best Masters performance was 20 under by Dustin Johnson a couple years ago.
Damn.
So he would be a generational golfer with those numbers. Yes.
That would be quite good. That would be quite good. Um,
Yes, it would.
but yeah, and the NL second base like the top part of it, it's like it's kind of stacked. It is kind of stacked, and there's a lot of that. I think there's four. You can honestly, you can. I don't even hate throwing Xavier Edwards into the conversation too. Like those five, especially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think those are the five where it's like you really got a case. Anything past that, it's like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? I respect what Ozzy Albies is doing this season, but starter, I don't really know about all that. Um,
Yeah.
the rest of the other five, though, I'm like, you know what? I have my pick, but anyone else, you got it. Any of those five, I think you kind of got it. All right. For third baseman, Ethan, who do you have for third base?
Yeah. So for third base from the American League, I third base in the American League, um I have a probably this one was tough for I have McGonagall, and it
Okay.
was tough just because I look at guys like Caminero, and obviously they just hit the hell out of the baseball. But McGonagall's just been overall such a good player this year, not even just for a rookie, but just as a player. He runs a high walk rate, low strikeout rate. His on base is almost 400. 132 WRC plus. He's just been an all around great hitter for the Tigers. And for the NL, like I said before, I have Max Muncy.
Yeah. Um, so my picks were in the American League. I had Miguel Vargas.
Yeah, that was probably my runner up there.
Honestly, the main reason I was more so considering McGonagall as a shortstop rather than a third baseman.
That's
I
fair.
think that's technically what he's on the ballot as, but I know he's played a lot of third this season too. And then the NL, Max Muncy. For the NL, I don't really think that there needs to be much of a conversation there. Like everyone knows, like Max Muncy's
Yeah.
hitting the shit out of the baseball, and no one else is particularly close. Like he's been probably twice as good as the next guy. Like we talked, a little bit ago about how it might be like Matt Chapman or like maybe Alex Bregman, who neither of them have been that good this season. Like one of them as like
Yeah.
the second guy. I mean, Muncy has been incredible. Has a 147 WRC plus, is a tick shy of like 3 WAR on the season. He's been killing it. He's been absolutely killing it. He's been insanely good.
Yeah.
Far and away the best third baseman in the National League. I like it genuinely. I think this might have been the easiest one. Like between how good the top guy has been and how much further ahead he is than the rest of the rest of the competition. This might be the easiest one. Can't lie. Um,
Yeah, I would agree.
um, the AL though, there's definitely a few guys. Like obviously Jerem's always gonna get his votes. Josh Young is having a really good season. Caminero is having a good year. I think Caminero's leading in votes right now. If you want to throw McGonagall in the third base category, him too. Even without McGonagall, there's 4 guys who are really there. Now you can, I guess at this point you can kind of discount J Ram because he's probably not going to be available for the All Star game at this point because of he hit the IL
Yeah.
and I think he's out 5 to 7 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out of commission. But even if you take him out of that, and you still have Vargas, Josh Young, Caminero, you want to throw in some outside guys. I think anyone past those 3 is kind of pushing it. But you know what I mean. I know Kaz Okamoto is like second in votes for third base. I think, which I mean, okay. I mean, I'll hear you out for a reserve case, but I don't really think I would agree with you. And then like
Yeah.
maybe Michael Garcia. I know he's been having kind of a down year. And unfortunately, that is not doing very good for my fantasy team. Don't love it. But it kind of is what it is. But yeah, I like a lot of this could change within the next month. I think. I mean, obviously, the All Star game isn't for another 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is. Things could definitely change. Guys could get hot. Guys could slow down a little bit, and that is obviously going to influence who we would have or not have on a ballot if we did it right by the All Star game. When the All Star game is about to happen or has happened or whatever our pod is closest to. we're going to talk about what the our all-star rosters and stuff. But for right now, I think that I would go Miguel Vargas. Josh Young would be not very far behind him. McGonigal I would consider a shortstop, to be fair. And there's another guy who in shortstop who I think is kind of so far ahead of his pack anyways, no matter who else you put in there. That's not even funny. Is it time to go to shortstop?
Yeah.
All right. So, for the American League shortstop, I'm sure we can all guess who it is. It's Bobby Witt Jr. I don't really think there's much of a discussion there. I think you can argue he's been the best player in the whole league this year.
I agree. I do want to say that Colson Montgomery is also, like, that is a no doubt substitute.
Yes. No, yeah. He's been really good. I guess
I just wanted to mention him because, yes, like, you're not competing with Bobby Witt Jr., but 20 home runs as a shortstop at this age, very impressive and deserves his flowers, which is why.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, you're right. Colson Montgomery has been really good, especially, like, he's been a really good, like, I think he's, like, 7 outs above average right now at shortstop this year, which is really fucking good. With that level of power is a pretty crazy combination. He's already at 3 WAR, so he's probably, if he keeps up his pace for the rest of the season, he's probably going to finish with over, he's going to finish close to a 6-win player.
Yeah, and I'm just going to interrupt really quickly because this is insane. Kyle Schwarber hit a 456 home run to start the 3rd inning, and he just hit a 557-foot home run to end the 3rd inning.
I'm sorry. What?
It is 11-0 Phillies against the Mets through 3.
I'm sorry, he hit it how far?
456 and 457, 2 home runs in the same inning over 900 feet.
Yo, I thought you said 557.
No.
I was like, what the fuck?
No. But still, 456 and 457. I mean, I'm stupid. I might have said it, but maybe. 456 and 457 is still insane to hit a singular inning.
Whew, that's ridiculous. 900 feet worth is absolutely ridiculous.
It's not human.
No, this guy's ridiculous. This guy's absolutely fucked.
Like, I still think one of the most impressive home runs I've ever seen was the one he hit against San Diego, just because that ball, I think, was, like, it's not the farthest hit ball of all time, but when you watched it, you know exactly which one I'm talking about, too, by the way. The one where Harper was, like, stunned. That was everyone's reaction.
It took, like, a second to leave the ballpark. Like, he was out of
there. That wasn't the farthest ball by distance. But in terms of, like, balls that were absolutely destroyed, that might be number one on my list.
Yeah,
like,
and
that ball was just...
And it wasn't even hit, like, particularly high either. Like, if I were thinking about the same one, it was a fucking liner. It was, like, a not very high line drive, but it left and, like, it was, like, you blinked and it was gone.
Yeah, I mean, that was what, like, 490. Like, that's the longest home run that was ever hit in, Petco, and that was hit, I think, 120 off the bat, too. Like, it was that, like, when I think of a ball that got absolutely hit into oblivion, it's that. That's, like, the one that comes to mind.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right, because that was, man, Kyle Schwarber is a fucking demon, bro. He's absolutely insane.
We'll get to Schwarber probably when we get to a different position.
Yeah, when we get to where we got to get to, then we will definitely have a talk about that. So, but yeah. So, yeah, my AL shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr., my NL shortstop, CJ Abrams. Ethan, who do you have? Shortstop.
Yeah, so I have Bobby Witt Jr. as well.
Yeah.
There was not too much that went into the shortstop one. I feel like this one was one of the easier ones, too, just because CJ Abrams having a hell of a year. And it's just, there's not really anybody else that really sticks out to me that much in terms of shortstops. In the NL at least.
Well,
I mean, Otto Lopez, if you want to say for sure, like, that's an intriguing name, and I 100% think he deserves his flowers, and I think that he is going to be a no doubt all-star this year as a reserve.
Yeah, I think he should.
But I'm just looking at the raw numbers that CJ Abrams having, what he's been doing, and that's just he's been just so unbelievable that he can't not be my starter.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I don't even hate an Otto Lopez pick, as even though I'm pretty comfortable with the Abrams pick, but I think Otto should if I had to pick, he'd probably be my reserve, him or like maybe Ellie. It would be one of those two as reserve.
Yeah.
Honestly, depending on what happens, you could even argue to be soon that one of them ends up being the starter, but wouldn't be shocked. But yeah, CJ Abrams has been absolutely killing it. So I feel like this is the player that everyone has been waiting for CJ Abrams to turn into, and he's finally turning into it. Now, CJ Abrams, he was good last year. He was a 3-win player, above average. And then even the 2 years before that, he was fine. He was solid. But this year, he's finally got it this year. Really, really got it. He's hitting 284 as a WRC plus of 142, slugging over 500, highest OBP, pretty much all across the board, career best numbers, career best walk rate, career best WRC plus, career best WOBA, career best expected WOBA, career best OPS, on pace to post a career high in F4. He's got it. He's going to now, unless he fucking breaks his arm tomorrow and fucking breaks both of his legs and doesn't play the rest of the season, he's gonna hit a career high in homers.
Just gotta hope that Bob Nightingale doesn't write an article.
Yeah, we need to hope that Bob Nightingale stays off his computer. We need to confiscate his laptop. We need to hand it over to a federal agency for secure holding until there's no more risk. He's gonna have a career high in RBIs. Honestly, he might have it by by a month from now, probably not even.
Yeah.
He's been killing it. He's been killing it. The best offensive shortstop in the NL, I would say pretty comfortably. You can argue that Otto Lopez is overall having a better season just because he's been a better defensive player while being pretty kind of comparable offensively. But yeah. And then, again, for the AL, I don't, there's no conversation for anyone else that isn't Bobby Witt Jr., to be honest with you. Bobby Witt Jr. has arguably been the best player in all of baseball, let alone the best shortstop. He has a pretty good case right now for American League MVP. It's serious. There's no nonsense. Listen, we were really close to tragedy, right? Because you see, he had the MCL thing, and left the game. It was scary. It's a grade 1, so he's not gonna hit the IL. Thank God. Yeah,
and then you had the panic of people saying oh, it looks so much like the Mondesi one, and we're gonna have a repeat of this, and it's just people freaking out, which it's understandable. Your superstar player goes down, you're obviously gonna get scared.
Especially, and there's some injuries that just look bad, even if they end up not being that bad, they look terrible.
It's like the ones where a bone just completely breaks, and it's either sticking out or you can see that a part of it's bending the wrong way, and it's you look and it's oh my god, this guy's never gonna play again.
Or you can
but then in reality, it's because it was such a clean break, they're gonna be back even quicker than they should probably be.
Yeah, it's not like the ones where it's you can see the muscles tear. You remember?
Yes.
You remember in the finals against the Warriors where
Kevin Durant
went down, and there's the video, and you can see it pop right in real time.
You saw the moment his season ended.
Yeah, you and his next season.
Well, yes, that's what I mean. You can see the moment.
Both of them. Yeah, no, but I know what
this guy had 3 seasons worth of season-ending injuries in a 2-year span, basically.
That's ridiculous. And you know what? It's crazy. He wasn't even
and he bounced back. He came back still. That's even crazier.
And out of all the people on that court, he didn't even have it the worst.
Yeah, I mean, but you remember the people saying oh, Durant may never play again, whatever. This kid he's old.
I remember.
And then yeah, I mean, I thought there was no doubt in my mind that he'd play. He was for sure gonna play again. I didn't think he'd be able to still play today at the level he's playing.
Oh yeah, if you told me that almost a decade later he'd still be doing his thing, I'd be yeah, no. But damn, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
But yeah, for shortstops.
Last thing, when you saw the video of him dancing in the hallway, you knew something was gonna happen.
You knew you kind of knew it. You could see it. You could feel it. There was mojo in the air.
Yeah.
You could feel the mojo. It was
Yeah.
Wasn't the greatest thing.
And that's not me saying I wanted it to happen, but it's you knew that something.
It's one of those things you watch and you're oh no. You're uh-oh. Like, it's like when you see Bob Nightingale tweets an article about a player and you're like, uh-oh. That's not good. That's really not good.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's move on to some American League outfielders now. So Ethan, who do you have for? Well, I guess we'll just do outfield as a whole. Who do you have for your
Wait,
outfielders?
okay, are we counting Judge because he's hurt, or should
Okay,
I say somebody other
so
than
you know
Judge?
what?
Like
I
that's kind of where
I
I'm
took
at.
out a lot of the major ones who like aren't going to play. So yeah, I didn't include Judge in mine because like he's not going to play. If Judge wasn't hurt, he would have been in there. But
Because I'll say this on my actual ballot, meaning like who's healthy, they get the starting job if they're healthy. It's Buxton, Judge, and Trout, which is pretty funny when you think about it, considering they're all three
mhm.
guys who have a history of some
Yes,
injuries. But
all have it pretty bad too. I can't lie.
if we're going straight up, like who the three best outfielders have been, regardless of their health right now, those are the three. Um, and I mean, obviously, you can interchange some. Like, I get, you know what I mean. Like, I'm not gonna say it's crazy if you have a guy like Bellinger slot in, or a guy like even Randy Arozarena, but those are the three that I'm picking, just because it's like, look, if there's you vote them in to be a starter. If they can't play, they get they get a reserve put in, but you still vote them to be a starter. So
Hmm.
I'm just sticking with that, honestly.
Yeah. Uh,
Nobody else has really played like that well to the point where it's like, okay, I'm gonna give it to you over Trout or Judge.
True. Um, my AL outfielders, and again, I omitted Judge from my ballot for the sole reason that as I am doing it, like as I was making it, I know that for a fact he isn't going to
So
play.
yeah,
So
then I'll say Bellinger over Judge for
yeah.
that
So I
argument.
personally was like, I'm not gonna bother putting Judge and then put asterisk whatever. So my three right now are Cody Bellinger, Byron Buxton, and Mike Trout. Now I know Mike Trout did just hit the IL. If it's a short stint, it's probably not going to affect my decision as much. If it ends up being a longer injury, if they would have said Mike Trout's out for the next 6 weeks, then my guy would have been a Arozarena over Trout. But they're saying that Trout might honestly not be on the IL that long. There's a chance it's a minimum like IL, like a 10-day stay or 15, whatever it is,
Yeah,
or however long he's out. I know the minimum is 10, but there's a chance that it's like a 10-day stay, and if it is, then it's gonna be Trout for me, and it's probably like my opinion is not gonna change probably based on the 10 days. But if it's a longer term injury, then it's a Rosarena, and then my ballot becomes Bellinger, Buxton, and a Rosarena. If there was no injuries at all, then yeah, it would be Bellinger
yeah,
or not Bellinger, Buxton, Trout, and Judge, because
yeah,
Judge wouldn't have had the dip in numbers. He would have
yeah,
accumulated more numbers because he'd been healthy, and he probably wouldn't have slumped anyways. But
yeah.
whatever it is. All right. So NL, I guess I'll go first. NL outfielders. I don't know about you, Ethan. This is another really easy one for me. Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, and James Wood.
Yes, 100% agree. The one thing I'll say is that it's like it is so hard to leave Soto off,
It
though.
is, and I can't lie. There is actually there's a chance that if he doesn't get injured, you know what I mean. If he doesn't have that injury earlier in the season that kept him out, what was it,
Yes.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was, that he probably actually ends up taking that spot from James Wood.
In
But
theory, I think that Soto probably gets. I haven't seen the voting numbers, to be honest, but I'd have to guess based off of how voters work and like who votes. I wouldn't be shocked if like Soto gets in over Carroll,
I
even if it's not.
I actually I have
Even
the
if it's
voting.
not debate.
I have the voting in front of me, so I'll show. I'll tell you. I'll
Yeah,
tell
who's like
you
the top five, I guess,
the top five.
for
Actually,
outfields in the
hold on.
NL.
I'll tell you actually. So I'll tell you where Soto ranks. You know where Juan Soto ranks right now? Actually,
Where?
he ranks ninth.
Really?
He ranks
I
ninth.
would think that Mets fans would be all over the vote.
There's some okay. There's some ridiculous picks in this top six. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna go through from 1 through 6. Okay, I'll go 1 through 9. I'll go to where Soto is. Number 1 is Andy Pages, which I mean, like he's having a good
Fair.
year, but I wouldn't put him
But
as a
also
starter.
Dodgers tax.
Dodger stacks. Whatever. Acuna. That.
Makes sense. Just because big
You know,
name. Like,
big
makes
name.
sense in the sense of like why someone like the average, because like that's another thing you gotta think of. The
Yes.
average fan that
Not everyone is
votes
following the
for
season
names they
super
know and
close.
stuff. Yeah.
Is
They
following
either
this.
vote for,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's a high average, or oh, I know this guy. This guy's good.
Yeah, like, oh, I know this guy's a superstar, like, whatever. You have name value. It is what it is. It's not a very uncommon thing.
That's why I'm sure Tatis would get a bunch of votes that he probably shouldn't get too.
You say that Tatis is 19th. He's
No,
not.
but I'm saying that
Oh.
I'm saying that like you could
Oh,
like
sorry.
you probably get some. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Do you? You know what? I want you to guess who ranks third. I want you to guess. I'll give you a hint. He's in the NL East.
NL East. Uh.
He's having a good year, but I don't think he should be like in this convo.
Marsh.
It's Brandon Marsh.
That's honestly not as surprising. Like, he's had a great year, and you know that Philly loves their
This is
athlete.
true.
Like, you saw with Bowman, so like, you know what I mean? After seeing Bowman start, I think Marsh is a very normal guy to be there.
This is more normal than the Alec Bohm one, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I will also sit here and tell you that I don't think he should be in like these
No.
combos. Like, I think you should
No.
you should keep him out of these combos. As good as he has been, you can recognize your guy, you can give your guy flowers, but also like let's be serious for a second. You know,
But this is the same league where you know, literally an entire team could be an all-star team because of the voting. So I wouldn't be shocked.
You remember like the
Royals
voting in like 15 or whatever it was, and like
yeah, it was basically the Royals versus the Cubs.
Yeah, and in 16, I'm pretty sure the whole fucking Cubs infield was in the game, right?
Or it might have been 2 separate years I was mixing, but yeah, like it was like that with the Cubs. And like they just had everyone.
Yeah.
And honestly, when it gets to that point, I think that might also be why they implement the at least every team has a representative, because then it would be guaranteed. Like at least it won't be because like if a team doesn't have an all-star, or not that, but like if a team has an all-star. Now it's I don't know how I'm trying to word this, but you get what I'm saying. Like how it's not just like 10 players from a single team; they have to spread it out a bit.
You know, I hear you. I hear you a little bit, but I still
again, not me saying that they should, but I like using as to why they think they should or why they like you know what I mean. Just kind of getting in their heads of okay, what could the reason possibly be for having this a thing?
I hear you. Actually, you know what? We skipped over a vote. You know, this might be the single worst one. Haesung Kim is 4th in NL second baseman voting. He's been in AAA for the last month.
What the? How is that even possible? Oh, Dodgers.
It's Dodgers tax. That's really all it is.
But yeah.
But it's still ridiculous. I understand Dodgers tax. It's still ridiculous. Dodgers tax.
Like, why is he okay? My
ridiculous.
question is, why is he even on the ballot? They need to do a better job of putting like. You know, of limiting who gets to be on the ballot. They need to implement like a plate appearance limit or like a requirement or something, because a vote for Kim is a vote you're taking away from someone who actually deserves it.
Yeah, and also another thing that I would argue too is what they need to do better on the ballots. They need to do a better job of making sure everyone's in the right positions. Do you remember when Altuve moved to the outfield? He was on. If I remember correctly, he was the second baseman on the ballots for like the next like a couple years, despite not playing second base like at all. Like if someone isn't playing a position anymore, they're still in their old position, and it doesn't make sense. Like you guys are literally the head of the league. Fucking fix your shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of whack. But anyways, 4th in NL outfield, Michael Harris. You know. Okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have him up there, but you know he's having a really good year. This one is kind of yucky. Teoscar Hernandez is 5th.
Would you say? What'd you say right before Teoscar?
Oh, I said. So yeah, Michael Harris is 4. I said this one's kind of yucky because he should not be here.
Yeah.
With all due respect to Teoscar,
he is having a very good year though.
I mean, yes, but also like he should not be this high.
Yes, no, I agree.
Like, no, like I actually think he should not be top 10 in NL outfield. Like, I'll be so for real with you right now.
Okay, top 10. I don't know if I could agree with that.
Okay. I mean, listen.
Now I want to hear now I want to hear 10 above him.
Okay, so I'll start. PCA, Carroll, James Wood. Those are the 3 that I had. I'll go Juan Soto. I'll go Jordan Walker. I'll go Andy Pages. I'll go Michael Harris. I'll go Ian Happ even. I'll go Brian Reynolds. I'll go...
You know what? Valid.
You know what? I won't say O'Neal Cruz because he's injured, but if he wasn't hurt, I would put him there. I go Seiya.
You know what? Now that you're naming some of the guys, I could.
There's a lot of guys. I'm actually so serious. Like, there's a lot of guys.
I love Seiya.
And listen.
I will give Harris over Seiya, though. I would give him...
Oh, I was talking about Teoscar. I was talking about Harris.
I thought that's who I was talking about.
No, I was saying the Teoscar one, top five
Oh,
is nasty.
I thought. Oh,
No,
I thought you were
Harris
saying
top
Harry.
10. No,
Okay,
Harris
then
top 10,
never.
sure.
That's why I was like, if I'm like, there's no way that like you can name 10 better.
No, I was talking
Okay,
about
that makes a
No, I
lot
was
more
talking
sense.
about
That makes a
Teoscar because
lot
he's
more sense.
fifth and no, because he's
Yes,
fifth.
okay. I could probably name close to 20 then if that's the case.
Yeah, no,
But
I think
yeah, okay,
no
yeah,
Harris
okay.
top 10, sure, you got it. He's like eighth in
Yeah.
WAR for NL infielders, sure, you got it. But yeah, no, that's the one I was saying. That one is a little nasty because
Yeah. No, yeah, that sure.
yeah, no, that one isn't great. I closed the thing with the voting on it. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on, I need to go back on Bob Nightingale's Twitter.
Okay. I'm so sorry to hear that.
I closed the. Yeah, I know it's a tragedy. I accidentally closed the voting. I don't know what I did. Whoopsie. All right, there we go. I have it in front of me again. So Teoscar's fifth in voting. Number
I probably
6.
tweeted before the pandemic. You reading this, there's not going to be a pandemic for COVID or something like
He
that.
probably
the
did.
next day.
You remember when he said that a certain nasty pitcher who used to play for Cleveland and fly drones went to the Mets? And then he didn't, and then he went to the Dodgers. Do you remember when...
Did he say he bet the family farm?
Did he say that?
Or was that... Somebody said that.
Do you remember the... You remember Ken Rosenthal reporting that Max Scherzer was getting traded to the Padres?
Yeah.
In like 21, and then he ended
Oh, wait, no. I mixed up. That was Buster Olney on the Springer to the Mets. That's what it was.
He bet the farm. Oh, hell
Buster
no.
Olney said he bet the family farm on it.
Hey, shout out Bika, bro. Shout out Bika. That's my guy. Shout out to him. Anyways, number 6 in NL field, Jordan Walker. You know, makes sense. He's having a really good year. Number 7 is James Wood, which I think is low, but...
How is he 7? How is... Like, what?
And number 8 is Corbin Carroll, which I think is
what
ridiculous.
What are we doing?
I think it's ridiculous that he's 8.
Okay. You know how, like, when you enter a contest, they make you do, like, the skill testing question?
Yeah.
They should require you to do, like have an IQ requirement or something to vote for the All-Star game.
You know what I think is the worst one here? PCA's 14th in NL outfield.
Fuck?
I want you to guess. Hold on. I want you to guess the 3 outfielders that are right ahead of PCA in NL All-Star like outfield voting.
Or any of them Michael Conforto? Because if so, then
none of them are Michael Conforto.
That would have been
None of them are Michael Conforto. Kyle Tucker's 10. He's not. So I want you to guess. So Soto's 9. Tucker's 10. I want you to guess 11, 12, and 13. PCA is 14, by the way.
Garrett Mitchell.
No. I'll give you a hint. 2 of these guys play on the same team.
Jung Lee?
No. Jung Lee's 20th.
Who them on this team? O'Hearn?
No.
Because I'm thinking like O'Hearn and
these
like...
what I'm actually not. These are 2 of the most ridiculous ones out of all the ballots, and I'm actually just realizing it now.
Spencer Steer?
No.
Oh God! Now I'm like.
Do you want to hear one
concerned
of the?
now.
Do you want me to give you one of the names?
Yeah.
I'll give you 13. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Adolis Garcia.
Alright.
Hey, he's gone, bro. Even before he had the injury, bro. Listen, with all due respect to Adolis,
the other one
because he had the big injury,
Justin Crawford?
Let me pull it up. Yes, Justin Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Which, right. Like, come on.
No, I'm not saying we're much better, but in reality, it does get to a point.
You know what I mean? I'm not coming on here. You know, we don't come on here to disrespect anybody, but like, come on, like, what are we doing? Like, it gets to, listen. As a wise man likes to tell me, it gets to a point.
Yeah.
It gets to a point. Do you want to keep guessing for who number 11 is, or do you want me to?
No, it's just gonna be making me irrationally mad. So
11 is not nearly as bad as the other 2. It's not good. Like, it's still kind of crazy. It's Mauricio Dubon. That one is not nearly as bad as like the Adolis Garcia pick. It's not good.
Isn't Adolis Garcia also out year.
He is. That was a more recent thing, but even before that, he was terrible.
Yeah.
Like he was doing terrible. Like he was actively having a really bad season.
Luis Garcia is one of those players where he'll have such a bad season, but then you just go on Twitter one week and then you see like a week where he's just hitting like 8 home runs, like, oh my god, this is the best player ever, and then you don't hear another thing from him for another like 2 months
until he does the same thing again. He's terrible for another
or he gets
7
hurt.
weeks. Yeah, I never really thought about it like this, right? Because I always see like the votes, and I'm like, okay, this guy's first, this guy's second, good, as it should be. But it never made me stop and think that there are 328,418 people who put Adolis Garcia on their All-Star ballot.
Yes, but how many of them are from Philadelphia? You'd have to assume all but like 50,
Like,
which
no,
were just Texas fans looking at the past.
Oh no, you're correct. But also, it's still crazy.
Yeah.
There's 357,000 people, almost 400,000 people who put Justin Crawford on their All-Star ballot.
Yeah.
PCA 14 is crazy, by the way. Chicago, y'all gotta show up for your people. Like, what is this? Like, how is
so then that makes me ask a question.
What's up?
How many of the people that voted for voted for Justin Crawford were in a coma and thought they were voting for Carl?
That's a really good question. That's actually a really good question.
Like, there's a chance that it's like a Dodgers fan or something who saw Crawford on the ballot. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta vote him for NL outfielder, and then after realized, oh wait, that's his dad.
That could be.
That's his son rather.
Do you this is crazy. It's almost disrespectful. Do you think that there's people who did that for AL first base that thought they're voting for Vlad Sr.?
No, it's just people. It's that one is definitely just people who say, "Oh, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That guy was good in the World Series.
He was really good in the World Series, and let's do it." Yeah, you know what? Probably fair.
In seriousness, a lot of the votes are simply just people being like, "Oh, I'm like, because like
you're just voting for your guy." It is
how many ballots have you actually submitted?
How many have I submitted?
Yes.
A few years ago, I would submit a few ballots.
This year,
I actually don't even think I've properly submitted.
Thank you. That's what I wanted you to say, because it's not like it's something like I feel like voting it when you're younger is fun, but now at this age, it's like truthfully, I don't care who it, and I know that one vote, like me voting, isn't going to change that.
Even if I
and that's not.
Yeah. Even if I do.
This isn't turning into like a political thing, because I disagree when you're talking about voting for things that actually matter. That you should always go out and vote. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like an All-Star game, like I just truthfully don't care. Yeah. You know, a lot of people that vote are the casual fans or the younger fans, and it's like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, they're not going to be sitting here looking at like we're talking about, like, yeah, this guy is running this ex-Woba with this, isolated power or something. So I think this guy's a better choice. They're looking, ooh, Vlad Jr. I know that guy. He's very good. I'll vote for him without seeing that he's having an off year. They just recognize the name and they know that he was good at one point or is good, and they'll vote for him, not because they see what he's been doing recently and think, yeah, that's an all-star. So that's another thing that comes into play. It's just a lot of fans that aren't necessarily because like you know what I mean. Like I'm not like someone who puts out many ballots. Like I usually just do one ballot just so I could have a record of who I pick just to look back on. But like I'm not one of the people that are putting out like 20, like whatever the maximum is a day to ensure my guys get in.
It's 5 per day.
When I was younger, I would.
It was 5 per day, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not one of those.
Even
people.
When I was younger, I'd probably do I'd fill out a ballot, I'd do the 5 votes, and I probably wouldn't come back to it even after.
Yes,
that.
like I would just do the 5 the once, and then that's it.
Yeah,
yeah,
even if I sit here and I do my 5 ballots every single day for a month, it's not really going to affect anything.
And quite honestly, sometimes when I do ballots or used to do ballots, I didn't even do it based off who I thought the best player was, just who I liked. So that in turn goes into it, where it's like, it's not a good measure of. That's why I hate when people in conversations of who's a better player use stuff like all-stars as an argument.
Yeah, because number one, the fan vote is kind of crazy because the big markets, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't do this, they're going to show up for their guys, and a lot of times you get guys who realistically are not on the same level as a lot of the other all-stars. If we stop the vote right now, and granted, not everyone who gets top 2 in their position is going to make the all-star game, it's not a lock, But if we stopped it right now, Max Muncy's a starter and Alec Bohm is second, right? That would be ridiculous, right? Over, granted, again, not like NL third base is that stacked, but you know what I mean? A lot of other guys who have been better than him, right? Bryson Stott would be second over guys like Bryce Terang, Luis Arias, Brandon Lau, Xavier Edwards, JJ Weatherholt. Like, there's a lot of guys there who you would probably argue that he shouldn't be there. For the American League, you know, you're looking at when this ballot dropped, I think Kirk had like 7 games played on the year, and he was ahead of like Adley Rutschman, Dylan Dingler on the ballot. It was like kind of crazy. Over guys who have been really good the entire season, have been on the field, have been really fucking good on the field, versus guys who maybe haven't been quite as good or haven't, you know, played very much or whatever it is. So I don't really understand I agree with you, right? When someone says like, oh, well, look at the All-Star appearances. It's like, yeah, do you think that the All-Star game is chosen well, right? Because even those people complain about how the guys are chosen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And understandably so, because I think that there are definitely issues with how the All-Star game is, you know, everyone's selected. But even those same guys who are like, well, look at the All-Star appearances, are like, you don't even like this either. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, there's one example that I find extreme, like that I always think about when I think about a crazy uh a crazy guy to make an all-star team. This is the NHL in 2015-16 season. So there's a player named John Scott, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he, up until this point in his career, he played like 250 games and had like 5 career goals and like 10 career points, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was a goon. He just fought. That's all he
He
did.
he was what?
He was a goon. That's what they call him,
Whoa.
an enforcer.
Damn,
He wasn't
okay.
gooning or anything, but
Damn, okay, he's a
uh,
gooner?
basically, he's never at any level in his career scored more than like 4 goals in a season, even like in junior hockey. He was just always a guy who fights, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Big guy, 6'8", 260, right? And, you know, he was on the All-Star vote for some reason. So fans voted him as a joke because it's just, you know, he's one of those meme players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people voted him in, and he ended up winning. And like it was getting to the point late, like it was looking like he's gonna be the captain of the division. And it's like, this is crazy because hockey isn't a sport where the All-Star vote gets taken over like this. So it was just to see everyone vote for him was crazy because at this time he wasn't even in the NHL. Like he was in the minor for the most part, like when this was going on. And basically he uh he like was winning. The NHL had to come out basically
Congrats to
and
them.
like say like they had to like the NHL told them like, hey, can you drop out of the vote, or like could you like not like choose not to play or something, and was basically trying to get him not to play,
Mm-hmm.
and that the team themselves were like was telling him like to do it. And then the player came out and said like, I don't deserve it, vote for my teammates or whatever, but then he won and ended up playing, and then he scored a couple goals and won the MVP of the All-Star game. But it was just pretty funny because it's like that's the prime example of, you know, a guy who shouldn't be there getting it there. But then he's there and it's fun. But like that's besides the point. The point is you look at it and you see, okay, this guy's an all-star, right? Does that mean he's automatically better than any player who's never made an all-star game? Fuck no.
Yeah, no, because like that, like saying that, oh yeah, because this guy's in the All-Star game, or you know, this guy's more All-Star appearances, like it doesn't make sense. Like I feel like we are at a point in time where like enough people acknowledge that these systems across all sports, honestly, are extremely flawed, and using them to, you know, pit one player over another is kind of stupid. Like it's really
Yeah.
stupid. Like it is very subjectively chosen, which I mean, I don't really think that there is a way to get it fully objective. I don't really think that that's possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but it is, even in its current form, it is a lot more
The
subjective than
only
it probably could be.
Yeah, the only way is if you use a concrete stat. Like, okay, the top however many in war will get a spot. That's like the only way that you can make it objective, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
there's no disputing because that's an actual stat. But that's obviously something they would never.
You can,
They would
and
have like their own committee voting before they do that.
yeah, they would never do something like that, you know. And even then,
Which I'm not saying they should.
if they went off of one particular stat, like, you know, let's say they go off war, you could even make the argument that, okay, why are we choosing this one statistic? You know what I mean?
Yes,
As
that too.
opposed to that, you could even argue that. Um, you know, there's things with it. So I think treating it as if it's super serious is really dumb. I have honestly, I've never really treated the All-Star game as if it's some super serious thing. It's essentially it's a festivity. It's a festivity.
Yeah,
That's how I've always seen
and
it.
it's for the fans too.
Exactly. I will say, and I know we said this last year, and honestly, we say it every year, probably. Baseball probably has one of the best All-Star games.
Yeah.
I know. I remember you said at one point, like the football one is apparently like a joke, right?
Yes.
I know basketball is kind of a joke. I think is the hockey one. Is it like, you know? I don't know about that one. Maybe that one too.
It's fun. It's definitely the better than the NFL one and the NBA one, but it's not like it's the greatest thing in the world. It's cool. It's like there's what they usually do is for the past couple of years before the last All-Star game, it was just the four divisions, and then like it was just the four divisions playing. It's a 3-on-3 game, 10 minutes, whatever. 10 minute, two. I think it was like 2 10-minute periods. I don't know exactly, but
Mm-hmm.
it was something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, now it's most recently it was captains, but I don't know. Now I don't even know because they haven't had an All-Star game. For the last 2 years there hasn't been one.
Oh damn.
Because 2 years ago they did the international tournament, and this past year was the Olympics,
Oh, true. So I kind of like
where
replaced
NHL
it.
players were allowed there for the first time since 2014. So
Damn,
obviously
dude.
they'd rather that than an All-Star game, and
True.
every fan would too.
True. But yeah, no, I don't really think it's a hot take to say, like, out of all the
No,
major sports, baseball has the best All Star game. Because in, like, you know, like you said, in football and, like, you know, even in basketball too, like, they don't care. Like, you can tell they don't give a fuck to actually be there. It essentially doesn't even feel like competition.
oh, I didn't even realize who's on the mound for the Mets. For this game,
Who is it?
Freddie Peralta put up a triple. He put up a triple double of
Ooh,
10 hits, 10 runs, 10 earned.
damn. 10 runs, 10 hits, 10 earned. God damn. That's a tough one. Yo,
And
his ERA is gonna be ruined until like August.
oh, I didn't even see. Okay, I mean, I didn't even notice this. Harper hit for the cycle, first ever for him. Good for him.
Shout out, shout out. Someone else hit for a cycle really recently.
It's also only the sixth inning.
Jay
Yes,
Schwarber's
that
coming for you
was
again, bro.
that was PCA
It was PCA.
a
That's who it was.
couple days ago.
Okay, that's who it was. I
Um,
couldn't remember who.
it's funny when you think about it that before last year, when Carson Kelly did it, which is pretty funny that it was a catcher. Their their last cycle before that was like 1990, like 2 or 3 or something. It was Mark Grace, their last one.
Wow.
And then Carson Kelly, a catcher, does it, and then they get one back-to-back years after going 30 years without one.
Shout out. Shout out the Cubs, the snapping droughts.
Yeah.
Shout out to that, bro. All right, we have one more position that we got to tackle on these ballots here.
Yeah.
And that's the designated hitter. I feel like these are easy. In both
Yeah.
leagues.
I mean, AL, it's very easily going on for me.
Yeah. Mine is also
Uh,
Jordan in the AL.
NL, you could say Shohei because it's Shohei. You could
Yeah.
say Soto, whatever, but it's Schwarber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
especially being the host as well. I just don't see a world in which he's not starting as the DH.
you know what you valid for that. I did put Otani as my DH, but you know what?
Yeah.
If Schwarber starts, I'm not really that mad about it. I don't really
My
think
thing
it's
is
anything.
personally is that Shohei has just been so good as a pitcher. I feel like it's more likely he gets the he gets in as a starter than as the DH.
True, that's valid.
I just think that makes more sense.
True, that's valid. I guess. I just
And he obviously again he could still hit as the pitcher. I just think that they're gonna give him that, and then they'll say okay Schwarber starts because whatever it's
yeah.
in Philly, something like whatever.
Yeah,
It is.
whatever they end up, however it ends up unfolding there. I put, Otani was an option on the ballot there. I was like, you know what, sure, I'll give it to him. Even
Yeah,
even ironically, as a hitter, he's been a lot better than some of these other guys too. I didn't really consider
yeah.
Soto for the spot just because he's on the ballot as an outfielder, so I was just like, sure.
That's fair. I
Um,
just said Soto because I didn't have him as the outfield. So if you want to make the
True.
argument of like, because I'm pretty sure he's DH like just as many games as he's played in the outfield this year.
he has.
So
I've checked. It's
that's
pretty
that's kind
close
of where I was. Yeah,
because he's only played like 30 something games in the field. He's DH'd a
yeah.
lot this year
Which
too.
makes
So.
sense when you're hurt, and also even when you're healthy, you're not
Mhm.
considered like a extraordinary. Like I'm not going to say that Soto is one of the worst defenders, but I'm
There
not
have
going
been
to say he's
some
a
years where
great
he's been up there. I
defender.
can't lie. There have been some years where
Yeah,
he's been kind of in that conversation.
yeah.
Hasn't done himself many favors in some of those aspects, but it is what it is.
He's very inconsistent. It feels like his stats are either it shows that he's an average defender or he's an awful defender,
Mm-hmm.
and it like rotates every other year whether he's like decent or terrible. Like it's weird,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, you made a
yeah,
pretty
I
good.
mean,
Yeah, you made a pretty good play for a defender so terrible.
yeah,
But yeah, no, that's why I didn't really consider Soto to be on it. But yeah, I mean,
that's fair.
if you put him there, sure. If it qualifies, I guess. Even if you put him in outfield spot, I wouldn't really argue with you if you put him there like over James Wood or even over Carroll or whatever.
Yeah,
Or over
not PCA.
if you PCA is the one, I'd be like, all right. But I don't know if you put him there, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I'm not gonna argue with you too hard.
Yeah,
But it's what it is there. You want to have some fun and do a pitcher? We'll choose a
why
starter.
not?
We'll choose a starter in each league. All right.
Let's do a start. Let's do you know what? Let's do two starters and a reliever. I
Choose.
feel like that could be fun.
You know what? I like that. You're right. So, in the American League, then we'll start in the AL. I feel like one of them's got to be Cam Schlittler, one of the starters, right?
Yes.
And then the second starter is kind of a tough one because there's a lot of guys that you could throw in there. You could throw Joe Ryan in that conversation. I think Davis Martin is still in that combo. Brian, no, I wouldn't say Brian Woo's in there. I think you can kind of throw Ranger Suarez in there. If you're not,
I got one that I feel like is a little.
if you're,
I don't know if it's off the radar, but one that's not. I don't. This is probably not my number two, but a guy that you didn't mention is Drew Asmussen. I think he's having a very good year, and that's
Mhm.
another guy who could get recognition.
I think Cease is still in that conversation too. I know that he was on the IL, but I mean it wasn't a very long stint. I think
Right.
he missed like 14 days or something like that, 15 days. Like he was on there, give or take, for the minimum amount. He's like barely just off of innings qualifications. Like he's gonna be there probably by the time the All-Star game happens.
Yes.
If
I that's why I have Schlittler and Cease 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's what I'd go with.
Yeah, I'll go Cease. Well, partially because that is my guy. Also because like even despite the IL stint, like he has been just as good as a lot of these other guys. Honestly, you can argue better. Like I think he's been better than Joe Ryan. He's been. I would argue he's still been better than Reed Detmers. I would argue the only guy that's been better than him in the AL has been Cam Schlittler. So I'll go Cease 2, I guess. And for a reliever, there's two guys. You know
I'm
what? Fuck it.
going
I'm
with my
going
guy.
Lou Dog. I'm going the committee,
I'm
baby.
going with
I'm going the
that.
committee. That's my guy. That's my boy.
I mean, in reality, I don't think it's like it's that crazy to
No,
say
absolutely
he's been the
not.
best
No,
reliever
absolutely not. You can
in the
argue.
American League.
No,
So
he has a really good argument that he's been the best. He's been the best reliever in all of the AL this year. The only there is no better American reliever American League reliever with a better xFIP than him. Actually, you know what's really funny? I say that. Do you want to guess who's second?
In XFIP,
Yes, for AL relievers.
I would have to imagine Hoffman,
It's Hoffman.
just because of how stupid
It's Jeff Hoffman.
his numbers are. He might be like just the most interesting player ever in the history of sports.
Is he the worst good pitcher of all time, or is he the best?
Or
bad
is he the
pitcher
best
of all...
worst pitcher? Yeah,
like
best,
which
bad,
one is
like,
it? Like which one is it?
I think he's the worst good pitcher of all time.
Mm-hmm. I think if you're not choosing Louis Varland for the bullpen, I think it has to be Kate Smith. It's one of those two.
Yeah,
I would still go Varland. He's second and fifth. The only reliever in the AL who has a better ERA than him is, and I mean, this one's kind of like
Aroldis Chapman in half the innings, right? So
a technicality, but I guess he doesn't. Like, he still technically qualifies for the reliever board, but
yeah,
like,
but I think Varland. I mean, I'm yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say.
Numbers.
Well, no, hold on. No, what I was getting at was the only qualified AL reliever according to Fangraphs leaderboards who has a better ERA than Louis Varland. And again, this is a major asterisk because this guy's been in AAA for the past 15 days. It's Brian Bayo. Also, that guy's not a real reliever.
Oh.
That was a piggyback guy.
Yeah.
So that don't fucking count. That shit do not count. So it's Louis Varland. If you choose Kate Smith, if someone chose Kate Smith, I wouldn't really argue too hard. I'd think, yeah, you know what, that's more than fair. I think.
Yeah, the NL I think is way easier though because I think it's very simply just Miz Sanchez and Miller.
Yeah, the reliever is undoubtedly, I would say. It's Mason. There are other guys who are definitely in the convo, though. I can't lie. Like, Robert Suarez is up there. Honestly, there's like
100%. It's so hard to pick anybody else.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I would have a hard time going anyone against Miller. I do actually just want to say though. I think ironically, there's like 4 Braves guys that I think you could argue are like up there. So
yeah, I mean, Dylan Lee has been one of the best baseball as well this.
Yeah, Dylan Lee.
Iglesias has been unbelievable too.
Fuentes,
I mean,
Iglesias has been really
higher.
good, right? And then the NL, you're right. It's really easy. It's Miz, it's Sanchez, and it's that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Some other guys that we should give some flowers out there. Some other guys, Chase Burns, shout out. Chase Burns has been ridiculous. I feel like Chase Burns having like a insanely underrated season. Like,
yeah,
he's been like a top 5 pitcher in the NL this year, and
but he's just getting overshadowed by like Skeens, Sanchez, Miz, even Sale, even like
that's the thing.
Even like Luzardo, McLean, like he just gets overshadowed by the bigger market players.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well,
like,
I'm not gonna say that the Miz plays for a big market, but it's just he's been that good.
He's also like gotten a lot more attention.
Statistically, been the best starter in baseball.
Yes, you know what I mean. It's just kind of been one of those things. So I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, I feel like Chase Burns has been like so underappreciated this season. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
The only starters in the NL this season who have a better ERA than Chase Burns, it's Sanchez and Miz. It's only those two. He has a better ERA than Sale, Yamamoto, Paul Skeens, a lot of the other guys who are having like breakout seasons like Max Meyer, Braxton Ashcraft, like he's been so fucking good. And he's kind of flying under the radar because, again, like you said, he's getting overshadowed by a lot of guys. I'm sure part of it is the the Cincinnati smaller market kind of thing, especially because,
and quite frankly, I think he also gets overshadowed by Hunter Green, who's on his own team, who hasn't even who's hurt. Like just because
that's a bigger name.
Hunter Green's considered he's considered the ace of that staff.
He was 1-1,
and people look at that.
He was a pick 1-1. Coming into the season, a lot more people were, big on Hunter Green than they were on Chase Burns. Everyone knew that Chase Burns had the chops to be really fucking good, but I don't think people were expecting him to be this good this season. And so I think as a result, he's flying under the radar. And like you said, even though Hunter Green hasn't pitched this season, I kind of get what you're saying. Like, more people, when they think of Reds pitchers and who's really good on that team, their mind goes to Hunter Green before it goes to Chase Burns. Even if this season it should go to Chase Burns first because he's just been that fucking good. But yeah, also of course, Sale is still doing his thing at like fucking 80 years old. He's doing his thing. He's throwing harder than he ever has, by the way, which is ridiculous to say.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
averaging
it's
96 on his fastball.
yeah. I don't know what they're doing over there
I have
at the auction, but
I have his Fangraphs page up in front of me right now. The only time that his fastball velocity averaged higher than this year, which is 96, was when he was 21.
that's insane.
He's throwing
I feel
harder.
like we're seeing that a lot with pitchers who are just starting to throw harder later in their careers.
Throwing harder at 37 than he did at 24. At 25, 26.
But...
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Throwing 96 like this, especially because, like, it's not like Sale ever lacked velocity, but he was never, like, one of those guys who was, like, pumping heat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's always...
It's not his it's not his fastball velocity that made him that dominant.
Yeah. Like it was obviously, like, always a plus, but it was always, like, his nasty breaking stuff that, you know, made him one of the top that made him one of the top pitchers in the league. It was never him pumping 98, 99, 100 because he wasn't really doing that. I'm sure he touched it. Like, I'm sure he did, but a couple times. But he was not doing that on the regular. But this year, averaging 96 at 37. Keep in mind, again, 4 years ago, everyone thought it was done. Everyone thought he was cooked. Like, his career, like, you know, the injuries, and then he wasn't really that great in 23 right before he went to the Braves, and then boom. It's crazy. On that note, Ethan, I think that kind of does it.
Yeah.
I think that does it. So, of course, thank you to everyone for watching. I just got the notification for the Harper cycle, so look at that.
Yeah, stay frosty, everyone.
Stay frosty.
I don't know, I heard that somewhere, and I want to start using it.
Where did you hear that?
I don't know, but, like, I'm pretty sure it's like a military thing that they say, like, to remain, like, calm, you know, like, under pressure and stuff, you know, like, you say, like, you know, people, you know, say, like, oh, yeah, you know, be cool, whatever, you know, stay frosty.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't know, I just liked it.
Huh. Interesting. Well, everyone, I guess, you know, stay frosty. If you...
That caught you a little off guard, I feel like.
It did. I wasn't ready for Stay Frosty. There's a lot of things that I'm ready for, but Stay Frosty is not one of them. I could not have prepared myself for it. Anyways, thank you for watching, listening. As always, it means a lot. You know, thank you for supporting the pod. We will see you on the next episode. If you for some reason have not listened to the greatest album of the decade, please go listen to "You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love" by Olivia Rodrigo. Greatest album of the 2020s. I will stand on that. I don't care if I'm glazing. I don't give a fuck. I mean, you see my spam story, so you see.
Look. I'm gonna have a little bit of a hot take here.
Uh-oh.
I like the album, don't get me wrong. I think out of her big three of Guts, Sour, and this, I like the other two better, personally.
Okay, I understand Guts. I'm a big Guts guy. Sour, I don't know about that one. Like, I love.
I guess I should say
Sour,
I just prefer her more upbeat, more like. I'm not saying that I prefer upbeat music always, but I just like her with the more up pop sound than like more with this album. Like, personally speaking.
That's fair.
But that's what's great about music is that it's so diverse. So there's so much, and there's no wrong opinions. You can say one artist is the best. The other person could say, "Oh, they're all right," but I like this person.
No, you're valid. For that. When she gets in her punk bag, whoo!
But it was objectively a good album.
Oh no, it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. It's been like all I've been listening to since it came out. Almost all I've been listening to.
I respect it.
You got it.
I see you still use the font.
I do. I got a fucking fire ass shirt today from fucking.
Did you put that on your story?
Oh no, I didn't. Hold on, I'll send you a picture. I bought it like today. Like, I bought it like an hour probably before we started recording. I was on my way home from work, right? I was walking through the Eaton Center, right? and the Hot Topic, there's this big ass sign like in the window of like some Olivia Rodrigo shit, right? And I go in, I was like bored, right? I think Hot Topic's a fun store to look around, and I look around, and they have this, right?
Yeah,
Peep, I just sent it in your DMs.
that is fire.
I was like, hold on, I kind of need this, like that. Like, listen, if anyone who knows me, that's my bitch right there. I'm her bitch. That's my bitch. I don't care. That's my dog. That's my goat. So I was like, you got to do it. So
it's funny. I just opened on a Snap story, the first one that or not Snap, Instagram story. 'Cause I just went on the first one I saw, and it was someone showing that they have the vinyl already.
Dude, one of my friends from uni here, she's in Winnipeg, and she texted me a picture of her sister got the signed vinyl. I was like, you son of a bitch. I should have got the signed vinyl.
You should send her my regards.
Send her your regards.
Yeah, no one should have to be in Winnipeg.
You're kind of right. You are right. That is kind of a tough one. But anyways, as we were saying, thank you everyone for watching, for listening. We will see you on the next one. We are getting closer to the deadline. We're getting closer to the All-Star game. We are getting closer to some really fucking intense baseball. Like some really intense stretches. So, we will see you then. So everybody, take care.